Hello and welcome to round 11 of the 2021 MX Simulator Grand Prix World Championship. It is the MX Sim Grand Prix of Portugal here tonight from Agueda. My name is Kellen Brower, bringing you guys the action here from the 11th round of the championship. If you're just joining us this week and maybe missed what happened last week, we were actually set to go racing right here at Agueda, and unfortunately there were some server issues that were causing some problems, so we had to delay it a little bit. They actually delayed the national race at Fox Raceway 2 last week, but if you see across the bottom of your screen, the updated broadcast schedule is scrolling there, so you guys can check that out. But let's take a look at the hot lap here tonight at the Agueda circuit, courtesy of atom.com. I believe this is actually Seth Shirley showing us around again on the 80. Yes, it is. So Shirley going to show us around the track here tonight, and you guys can head over to atom.com and check out what he's got going on over there. Left hand 90-degree corner up a hill, and then right into a 180-degree drops you back down into the center of the valley. Little left 90 takes you back up the hill again, so you're basically going parallel with the start again. Drop back down off this 180, coming right back down towards the start, and then this long left-hand sweeper takes you all the way back out to the far back end of the circuit, where you're going to go back and forth through the valley a couple times and use these hills here in Portugal to your advantage. Slippery surface, a little bit of loose topsoil and hard base underneath, so these guys are going to be struggling for traction throughout the night. As you can see here, going back and forth across this valley, big triple, 180, and then a little double kicks you back up to the other side here. Shirley almost lays it down on the inside there, but keeps it up nicely. Then this nice little floater step up in the background. See guys throwing a couple good ones off of that here tonight. Shirley splits through the anthills and then goes to the outside here to get a drive for this roller section, but very tricky to get a drive to actually double your way through here. Shirley does a nice job to kind of collect himself, and then hip jumps down the hill on the inside. You could go outside and step down, or hip off the inside and then hit the single down to the bottom of the hill. Left-hand sweeper back up to the other side of the valley. Little step up there, and then a nice drop down here. Takes you down towards the mechanics area, left into a kind of launch single jump down past the mechanics area, right up to this finish line complex. Little kind of left kink into a right 180-degree corner. Very fast section, very interesting section when it's late in the race. Up and over that finish line jump, little oppo whip kick out there for Shirley on that nice big floater table, then a little table single combo. Brings you to the other side of the valley for the final time before you drop off back down by the starting gate here. Gonna go up this little anthill on the inside and carry momentum into this race tech table top. Nice little flick out there for Shirley as well. And that's a lap here tonight at Agueda in Portugal. Well, again, thanks, guys, for joining us here tonight at round 11 of the championship. As mentioned, there was some server drama last week, some issues that they were having. So we're actually in a different server here tonight hosting the race. So that's something that's new to keep an eye on this week. Maybe we're going to see some either some lag or no lag, or maybe it's going to be better or worse. We're not quite sure yet, but it sounds like the Race Factory guys have been working hard to fix it. So that's good to hear that we're going to get back to racing this week tonight in Portugal. And then on Wednesday, we'll be back for the Fox Raceway 2 National as well. So keep in mind all those ones coming up, and across the bottom of your screen, also pay attention to the broadcast schedule throughout the night. Let's talk about the qualifying times for this race. So, and I need to actually pull that up right now because I'm an idiot and didn't have it up before we started this one. But if we talk about the qualifying times here for tonight in Portugal, go down to the RFGP and Agueda and wait for it to load up. There we go. All right, qualifying. Tyler Lang fastest at a 146.5, a 146.8 for Leclerc. Hubbard, Janis, Magnetti up there in the mix as well. Looking at the MX2 class, it's Johnson at a 146.1, beating Jaden Wilson by almost a full second there. Seth Shirley, Cade Matherly, Logan Leitzel all mixed in as well. But it's the championship standings that we want to talk about here tonight, because championships could be clinched. It's a far-fetched one here in this MXGP class with a 22-point deficit for Lang. He definitely is going to have to lose a huge chunk of points, 28 points to be exact, on Leclerc tonight to not be able to stay alive for the championship into the final round at Argentina next week. But those are the only two riders still mathematically alive, whereas in the MX2 standings, Cooper Hunt and Payson Johnson are at a dead heat atop the championship standings here, nothing in it. And again, just like in the MXGP class, those two are the only two alive for the championship as well. So an interesting dynamic in both classes coming down the stretch here with the 450 guys 22 points apart, and the 250 guys no points apart. So it's going to be a fantastic race to watch and a lot of fun, no question about it. Thank you guys again so much for joining us here tonight. Sorry for all the mix-ups last week and none of the usual broadcast happenings as usual. But I appreciate you guys coming back and joining us here tonight. I see Brendan Kennedy's here asking how I'm doing. I'm always doing fantastic, Brendan, but I appreciate you asking regardless. Hopefully you're doing well tonight as well. Daniel Morris is also here. We got Max, Lancer 2004. Good to see you guys. Daniel says you should make another vid on how to put numbers on gear. Yeah, I mean, really, there's nothing different, as Lancer put it there, than when I did that video. It's the same concept. It's the same using Photoshop and kind of designing it how you want to, and make sure you have the proper PNG files saved and the proper JM files for the gear that you need, and be sure to save out your norm as well. You can run a spec map, but most people don't run spec maps on gears. It kind of just makes it look a little bit weirder. Usually people run will run a spec map on their gears if they have some sort of like holographic thing or some sort of shiny element that they want on their gear set, but most of the time everybody just runs a normal PNG, which is basically, it looks like that like bluish thing with all the ripples in it, and then your regular PNG, which is just the actual gear template that you save out, and obviously have the right JM files for your rider, and you're good to go. It's pretty much the same as when I did it back then. I guess the only difference is I didn't scram my files back then, which is a very common thing people do nowadays, with how many people are creating gear that they don't want to be ripped. I didn't show you guys how to scram files in that video because it was 2016 when nobody was worried about that stuff. But scramming, again, there's just a tutorial on the forums. It's just kind of up to you whether you want to dig and dive for that or what you want to do. Max says, crazy to see you working at Racer X. I remember being here under 20k subs. I appreciate that. I appreciate you've been here the most of the ride. 20k subs sounds like a long time ago now for sure. But in retrospect, I mean, it's like 3 or 4 years. It's crazy how fast this has all happened, and that we've been able to grow and continue to provide content for you guys. And hopefully it's been good content, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. But yeah, for my side, it's been a blessing to work at Racer X, and I definitely wouldn't have got there without this channel and the help of you guys supporting it. So I seriously can't thank you guys enough for always tuning in and watching these streams, always tuning in and watching the videos that we put out, and being supportive over the years like you have been. It means a ton to me, and I don't know how to ever repay that debt I feel like that I have to you guys, but try to do my best with the content we put out, and hopefully you guys are still enjoying after all these years. I did see that we just hit 89,000 subs earlier today, so that's pretty cool. Thank you guys again for bumping us to that number. I feel like the countdown to 100K is on. And in this off season, I'm finally going to get back to creating a lot of content, so the grind will be on to keep growing and keep making this channel what it has been pretty much since day one, which is just to try to build a fun community of gamers and share some cool content with you guys. So thanks again so much. Who else we got here? We got Misael Gaiman. He's here. Colin Copeland. He's up in here as well. Lancer 2004 says, I think started watching 2016 or so it's awesome to see the growth. So close to 100K. Absolutely. I know. I can't believe. If you would have told me at any point that like 100K was possible, way back when Jeremy and I started this channel, I would have probably laughed and cried at the same time, because like if I knew that it was possible, I would have been over the moon. I'm still over the moon to know that it's possible. This grind, this journey and this grind to get where it has been is been so fun, so rewarding. But at the same time, it hasn't necessarily been easy. It's not just easy to always create content and be here for these broadcasts. It's been a little bit tougher this past year to do the broadcast too, now that I'm a dad. So I'm still trying to get here and do these for you guys and make some good content and cover these races. These races are insane. Fun battles all year long, it seems like, and we still got some championships alive to decide down the stretch, so going to be a lot of fun to see where things go. All right, I think we got 250 Moto 1 getting lined up right now, because it looks like there's more people than would have been in the Consi. Yeah, this looks like 250 Moto 1 on the track, getting ready to go out there. So MX2 Race One. Let me actually make sure I got this dialed in here. I don't want to have this all messed up before I get started here tonight. So it's going to be 250 Moto 1. We'll have the moto timer ready to go here in just a minute. There's Logan Leitzel out here. Hubbard remembers watching in 2015, only dreaming he could race the pro races. Now he's absolutely crushing it, winning Supercrosses earlier this year. and contending at the front seems like with regularity now. So congrats, Hubbard, on your progress through your career. Max said, did you ever imagine working at Racer X prior to the job? I mean, prior to starting the channel, I thought that working at Racer X was like the real opportunity that I was going to have someday. Hopefully, like I'd always dreamed it, always wanted it, always worked towards it. And I had worked at Vermoto for 2 whole years before I started this channel. So I was like kind of already in the motocross industry and ingrained in it and felt like I was progressing my career that way. But when I lost my job at Verb in 2017 because they went under, I thought I was kind of out of the industry at that point, and then SYS would be the way to stay in the industry, if you will, or stay connected to motocross. And it's been kind of the way it's worked out, and now I got a job at Racer X. So yeah, it's fantastic. All right, let's get this moto timer up. I'm a little bit late on the draw there, but we are good to go. 30 board goes sideways, the revs go up, and we are going to go racing here in Portugal. Oh, several riders hitting the gate up the inside, and it's actually going to be a good jump out of the middle. It's a Honda getting there first. Is that Thompson? It is. Trevin Thompson picks up the Race Tech Whole Shot Award here in MX2 Race One at Agueda. So it's Thompson off the top of the hill. Trevor Burns right there with him, and Casey Cochran's got a good start with Chris Post up there as well. I think that's Cade Matherly up there on the 195, so some good faces to have out front early on. As sliding to the outside goes Thompson, and taking over that race lead will be Trevor Burns. Burns and Thompson still side by side as they go into the back here, and Thompson's trying to fight back around the outside. Burns does take that race lead away, and now there's a crash in the background there that may have been Matherly getting collected with some riders as the field starts pulling away out front. Oh, Cochran up the inside of Thompson, but backs out of the challenge. Thompson holds on for second as they're all giving chase to Trevor Burns. So Cochran back to third, Chris Post fourth, and indeed it was Matherly, I think, that went down because Seth Carr has moved his way into the top 5. He's got Luke Sullivan right behind him. Sullivan has jumped over to the Yogi program after riding for the Phil's KTM team most of this year. Got Devin Davis also on the Yogi team as well. Coming down the inside of him is his teammate Brandon Wolf, and that is Cochran sitting sideways in the track. Go back to our leaders because we got a battle on our hands perhaps. Thompson is not letting the 17 of Burns go as they come down to complete lap number 1 of many. This is probably going to be give or take a 17, 18 lap race here. Maybe 19. We'll see how fast these guys can get around the track. But it is Burnsley leading after the first lap. Thompson following him down the hill behind as they work their way back towards that start line. We'll go through and figure out where our championship contenders are in a quick moment here. It is Chris Post who has moved up to third, Seth Carr fourth, and Sullivan now up into fifth. Devin Davis slides his way into sixth ahead of Logan Leitzel. There in seventh. Cochran goes back to eighth ahead of Shields, and then Tyler Blowers moving up into 10th place. Jaden Wilson back here in 11th, giving chase with Payson Johnson, first of our red plate holders, back here in 12th. And I believe I just saw Cooper Hunt trying to make a pass for 13th behind. So it looks like those two have started together, and they're going to try to work through the field. Fortunately, they are very close to a huge train of riders here, and Johnson's already looking to go to work. He goes to the outside there of Blowers. Now trying to get Wilson, who gets taken to the ground by Cochran. Cochran, a little mistake, had landed sideways, and then Wilson was a sitting duck on the left side of the track as now Cochran jumps to the inside of Shields. Makes that pass. Johnson trying to funnel through, gets into him, and it's a good save for Johnson, but he definitely put Shields on the ground. So Hunt is going to go by, as did Brandon Wolf, and now Johnson getting back around Blowers. Going to put someone between himself and Hunt. But these two now trying to work their way through the field as everybody figures out what's going on ahead of them. It is Cochran still just ahead of these guys with Devin Davis off of him, and then back to our lead group again. Looks like Burns and Post now 1 and 2, so we have lost Thompson. Sullivan up into third, bringing Seth Carr with him, and Thompson back to fifth. I saw Seth Carr, thought it might have been Trevor Burns and Thompson battling again, but it actually turns out that Thompson has gone backwards, and you have the hard charge here from Sullivan on the 11. Mistake, though. That is Seth Carr tucking a front wheel and going down. So Leitzel, his teammate, will go by, and he will only lose technically speaking, 2 positions out of that. Laying off the side of the track there is Leitzel. You go back to this group, though, and you can see the battle for the lead is certainly on. Burns with Sullivan and Chris Post jumping down the hill behind. It is very much tightened up at the front. Sullivan was not exactly close to Burns a lap ago, maybe about 5 seconds down of him, and suddenly he's on him. As Post lays it down, and that's a legs off as well. That's unfortunate. So through goes Leitzel, and he's going to get going just as Seth Carr gets there. Remember, Carr had crashed while he was catching up to the back tire post in the first place. Here comes Cochran and the 27 of Davis as well, with Johnson just off the back of these guys getting into the fray. Trying to see, don't see Cooper Hunt. Oh, it is that Cooper Hunt, actually. It is Cooper Hunt that has moved up here. Now he's trying to pass Devin Davis. He will do so, which means we have lost Payson Johnson somewhere in this mix. See the red plates there going up the hill in the background, so he must have had a legs off as well. Cochran trying to get a nose up the inside of Chris Post. As these two are fighting, they're allowing Cooper Hunt to get back into the fray. And we peek back out front, see it still is Trevor Burns. But Sullivan was closing, now it looks like it's leveled out a little bit. So the 11 of Luke Sullivan, 1.5 seconds down, crossing a finish line jump this time by Trevin Thompson there in 3rd. Logan Leitzel will cross in 4th. Seth Carr has moved his way up into 5th now, with Chris Post sliding back to 6th. Cooper Hunt goes to 7th. Devin Davis over the line in P8. Cade Matherly finds his way into 9th, with Payson Johnson crossing in 10th. And Casey Cochran just had a double legs off before the finish line. He's going to go from 6th to 12th because of it, and allow Jaden Wilson back into the picture as well. Brandon Wolf was the rider that went through into 11th, as we've got some shuffling around going on here. This is Matherly. Oh my, dirty whip from Johnson, but too far out there, and corked it upside down too much. Kicks him over the front, and he goes down. So there goes Wolf. And it doesn't look like Cochran is going to get there, but suddenly that battle that Johnson was in with his teammate Leitzel, Cade Matherly, got Cooper Hunt off the front of it. He has lost touch with that group. That would have been a filthy whip had he been able to pull it back. Not able to do so this time, and oh, Matherly getting kicked out. Oh, and he stays on 2 wheels temporarily, slides it out again, so that's actually going to turn to a lengthy little tip over. Fortunately not a legs off, but loses a couple of positions as Wolf and Johnson go by, and Jaden Wilson also trying to sneak up into the picture there on the 280, or is that the 260. 280 as Andonias Cura on that team. Now catching up to Wolf as Johnson tries to sprint away. So resetting things as we have a new leader, Trevin Thompson. So something happened between Sullivan and Burns on that last lap, because Burns must have just had a tip over. He's going to drop back into 2nd with Seth Carr right behind him, and now Sullivan most certainly has lost a little bit more ground in whatever had happened. So not sure. Either way, though, we have a new leader, Trevin Thompson, the whole shot winner. Didn't quite work out too well for him at the end of the first lap, as he lost the lead before he could cross that finish line jump, but now out front once again. Almost 8 minutes into this 30-minute plus 2-lap race, and looking like he is kind of comfortable in this position. So we'll see whether he can hold off the advances from Burns, Carr, and Sullivan from behind. Got to change for position. Cooper Hunt just went around the outside of Devin Davis. So Hunt on the 20. Gets around the 27 of Davis. It's a tricky little step up right there. Hunt almost through the front door. Now coming off the back of this group a little bit is Payson Johnson. He's coming into the mixer. You can just see him bottom of your screen coming into view. As up the inside, Chris Post is giving them the business. Devin Davis alongside. And a mistake that put Leitzel on the ground. So Leitzel down and gets up and immediately crosses the track to get plowed by Jaden Wilson. Oh man, had Wilson gone down, I don't think that would have necessarily been a very clean track re-entry there from Leitzel. And before you even get mad about it, it's not necessarily about re-entering from off track, it's about re-entering the race. You have to be wary of your mini-map and try to re-enter the race as straight in a line as possible. But in that case, Leitzel was crossing the track right there and ended up in the line with Jaden Wilson coming through. So now Hunt is dealing with the pressure from his teammate and fellow championship leader. Dead tie atop the championships with 2 rounds to go in this MX2 class, and now we're going to try to settle it out, at least in this moto between them, but not for the lead. They're currently battling for, I believe, 5th and 6th on the track, as Hunt has Johnson given him the pressure from behind. Quick question in chat from Lucas King says, how do you get the race order camera? Tell you in just a sec, as up the inside, Johnson gets around Cooper Hunt. Nice move in the end. Yeah, to get the race order camera, let's quickly do a tutorial. So, like, let's say you're watching these guys in this camera, and you're switching between riders, because you've already done /toggle spy in chat, so you can look between riders. Well, when you go into free cam, and you don't have cameras turned on yet, this is what you have. You have free cam here, and then we can like drone cam it a little bit. We can follow these guys around. We can act like we're at Fox Raceway again from the weekend, and just have a lovely little like follow around here. As here comes Johnson, and we're just gonna drone cam him. We're gonna follow him real close in the corner, almost land on Cooper Hunt's head. Johnson's gonna hit this table in the back, and he's just looking oh so nice. But anyway, if you're in this free cam and you hit the number 1, it'll put you in the camera mode. And I'm sorry, you need to hit the 1 on your number pad, so the thing on the right side of your keyboard. And then if you hit your sit dab button, it locks onto the rider as if you're watching them in spec mode, like this. So then it locks back onto the rider when you're in camera mode. Like you, if you hit sit dab and then hit sit dab again, it unlocks them. If you hit 0 on your number pad, it goes back to free cam. If you hit 1 or any of the cameras, you can switch around between the cameras on your number pad there, and then hit your sit dab, and it goes back to the rider that you were following previously, and then you can switch to the riders just like you had been the entire time. So that's a quick tutorial on how to use cameras in-game. As we go back to our race lead, and boy, oh boy, do we have a good one on hand here. Trevin Thompson still leads, coming up to 12 minutes, but Seth Carr and Luke Sullivan are coming. And these riders are going to have to be maybe wary of the fact that Cooper Hunt and Payson Johnson are not that far off of them either. Don't you worry, Nick Tomasunis. I will get your boy Chris Posting on board. Settle down in the chat there, Sunshine. I'll make it happen, Captain. 3-rider battle for the lead here. Thompson, Carr, and Sullivan on the 11. Who flinches first, and who makes that first move? Thompson cuts across, gets that inside line, but a good outside effort there from Carr. Let's see what happens here in the wave section. Off the back, is Carr going to duck to the inside and go for the hip? There's a lapped rider in the way, so he elects to back out, and now these guys have kind of dropped Sullivan a little bit. Inside move for Seth Carr, gets into him, and he takes them both down. Thompson does not fall off the bike. That was a bit overzealous, though, for Seth Carr, and allows Sullivan through into the race lead. So Sullivan takes over at the front. You got Burns moving up into second, and Thompson slides from the lead back to third as the lap traffic tries to move out of the way, and Burns lays it down. And here comes that freight train. Look at that. Suddenly, Burns goes from second to almost seventh. He's sixth now behind Johnson. So Johnson moves up to fifth. Seth Carr is in fourth. Cooper Hunt now up to third. Trevin Thompson goes down again at the top of the hill. Allows that whole train to go by. And here is your race leader, Luke Sullivan. So it is Sullivan to the front here on lap 8. Oh, crossover from Colby Ewell there. Almost putting Sullivan on the ground. But as mentioned, Hunt and Johnson coming together to the front. And that is not too big of a gap up to Sullivan at this point anymore. 3.6 seconds as Johnson up the inside repasses Cooper Hunt. And And the championship combatants continue to swap the places, but now lap traffic. Got to be careful if you're Johnson to not push the envelope at the wrong time and put yourself down, as there's Sullivan coming back from off the track, and Johnson has taken over the race lead. Simple as that. And the 351 finds himself out front before we even hit the halfway mark here in Portugal. So now the question is, who can stop him? To this point, it seems like Hunt, his teammate, has been the only one to actually keep him close. And when Johnson made a mistake a lap ago, Hunt went back by, but Johnson immediately repassed him. And now is back out to the front again. It is still Sullivan there in second, and Hunt right behind him in third, but then Hunt just laid it down at the top of the hill, so he loses a bunch of ground. These ruts are getting deep, and they're starting to catch guys out. Seth Carr now dealing with his teammate behind. That's Logan Leitzel. Holy freight train. That's Colby Ewell trying to get out of the way with Devin Davis. Cade Matherly and Logan Leitzel all splitting lines at the top of the hill. Leitzel followed Ewell around the outside. Now up the inside, Matherly tries to get a nose on Davis down by the mechanics area. Switches out to the outside, turns to the inside here, and then he takes Davis down, kind of. Davis kind of flips into the corner. Matherly completes the pass. That was dicey between those two guys, though. They're swapping positions. As we go back to our leader here past the halfway mark, and we'll give you guys a quick top 20 rundown and give Thomas his onboard with his boy Posty after that. But this top 20 rundown here tonight brought to you by atom.com. They also brought you guys the hot lap earlier tonight, but head over to atom.com. That's AYETOM.com to check out his merch line and his music line that he has now dropped a couple EPs and trying to kickstart his music career. Adam Holm, long time racer with us here in Race Factor Gaming Pro, Motocross, and Supercross. So please go check him out. And they bring you guys this top 20 rundown. Payson Johnson, Underground RC 351 machine out front from Luke Sullivan on the new Yogi Design number 11 program here. Seth Carr sits third on the Underground number 347, and his teammate right behind him, number 20, is Cooper Hunt in fourth. Their teammate, Trevor Burns, on the 17, running in fifth as rider down. Burns just over top of him. Back to sixth, though, the Impact Frequency machine. That is Jaden Wilson on the 260. Seventh for Logan Lights, another Underground RC Cowie on the 37. There's seventh. Eighth for Devin Davis, the number 27 Yogi Designs Honda. Ninth is Trevin Thompson on the Cyber Designs 151. And 10th for Cade Matherly on the Stance number 195. Back to 11th, another new team for Jeremy Siebel on the Impact number 9. He works his way through here, just ahead of Braden Tharp in 12th. Tharp on that 415 Yogi Designs Honda as well. 13th for another Underground RC effort out here. It's Tyler Blowers. Is he on the 165 here tonight, or is that the 746? It is a 746. Seth Shirley behind him in 14th on the atom.com number 80. There's Chris Post on the 164 team. Too dope. Hashtag free Larry KTM, but he just went down. He is going to perhaps remain 15th, though. There's not anybody right behind him at the moment, so he'll stay there. 16th for Will Clark on the Boots House 114. 17th is Casey Cochran, the BPC number 62. 18th for Brandon Wolf on the Yogi Designs number 427. 19th is Connor Austin on that TemeculaMotorsports.com number 123. And 20th for Ryan Pinkerton on the Yogi Designs number 395. He's got Dylan Love and Ryan Swanson right behind him. But that has been your Top 20 Rundown, brought to you by atom.com. All right. Question in chat from the Nick Thomas himself. We'll go on board and just listen to Chris Post crash as he's about to pick it up in the first corner here. And up the hill we go. Now we're going to watch a battle as he's going to try to run down Casey Cochran and Will Clark. Well, quite the eventful sequence there for Post as he was trying to battle with Jeremy Siebel and Will Clark and Casey Cochran. Cochran and Siebel get together, and that caused Post to stack up behind them. Will Clark also went down. Now Siebel just tipped into the rear tire of a lapped rider, and he went down. So I'm trying, Nick. I'm trying to give your buddy some love out here, but he's kind of tossing it away a little bit. Hate to see it. Back to our leader, though, and it is still Payson Johnson creeping up on the 20-minute mark of this one. Johnson sliding it through the inside line there. Uh-oh, Luke Sullivan's got issues, and he's going to have to grab a few Kleenex tissues to solve it, I think, as he has got some serious internet lag. He is going to remain second place ahead of Cooper Hunt, but now has lost a lot of ground to Johnson, 21 seconds back. And suddenly we've got a three-rider battle for second with Sullivan and his internet issues. He has got the 20 of Cooper Hunt right behind him, and the 347 of Seth Carr behind them. And as mentioned, this has turned into a three-rider battle for this 2 spot. So can Sullivan wick it back up and hold on? Or will it be Cooper Hunt or Seth Carr to slide through and get into second? As all 3 of these riders are just watching Payson Johnson walk away with this one. All right, Patty MXS wants to watch Payson for a lap, so we'll check out this battle for a little bit and then go up and watch your race leader burn down a hot lap or 2. See what the 351 is made of out front. Does seem like since Sullivan has picked it up from his internet problems, though, that picked up the pace as well. It's not been able to, or has not been phased, I should say, by Hunt behind him. Riders going down there off the side of the track. Only 35 riders started this race out of the 52 that qualified for the event, so perhaps the pushed back way of this race caused some riders to miss it out tonight. Indeed, Austin Christoph in chat says, is Casey Cochran the same guy as the young Super Mini rider? It is. That is the same Casey Cochran as the Gas amateur rider on the number 66 machine. Monster Energy Fox-backed rider. It's the same dude. Racing with these guys in Sim. And he's a good one, too. And there's some stuff kicking off here. So we got Johnson suddenly right in front of these guys. He's had 2 fall-off crashes. We got Sullivan, Hunt, and then Carr, and lap traffic aplenty. So I'm not sure whether or not maybe Johnson was bothered by the lap traffic or something like that, because he has lost so much ground in a very short amount of time. So he's trying to get his feet back underneath him a little bit here as he cross jumps the 619 there very heavily on the step down, but that is lap traffic that he's trying to get around. Sullivan and Cooper Hunt still dealing with each other. Hunt trying to go outside to in. Not able to make it work just yet. And these two at least have cleared some of the lap traffic, so they can worry about each other a little bit more so now. But now they're catching Dylan Adams on that 619. Oh, big crash in the background. But that was another lap rider going down. Might have been Pinkerton. Cooper Hunt, Dylan Adams nearly colliding. Oh, Luke Sullivan's gone to the lead. Johnson went down. Uh-oh, Payson Johnson hit the deck. We did not see it, but he's now behind. All right, we're on board with Johnson now to give you guys this perspective, because we have a battle for the lead brewing here late in MX2 Race 1. As you can see, Sullivan and Hunt hitting the triple just ahead. Hunt's going to try to go to the outside, but it's not going to quite happen for him just yet. All the while, Johnson is trying to close back up on these guys. He had a pretty sizable margin that fell apart quickly. So you can see the intensity that he's riding with. He doesn't seem too thrilled about his situation as down goes Sullivan with the lead. That's going to put Hunt back into the race lead, and now Johnson is going to try to close up on him. Inside move, Johnson, not quite enough here coming up the hill, but then Hunt blows the inside rut, and that will be enough for Johnson to go by. So quick moves in succession. Pace and Johnson retakes the race lead here with about 5.5 minutes still to go. He almost blows the rut at the top of the hill. That's going to cost him a lot of time. But yeah, 156.9 this time by, so that must have been at least a legs off crash last time through to be that far off of his best pace. Cooper Hunt also had some problems as well, it seems, though. 153 dead, not accustomed to seeing him drop off late in motos. Usually gets better as he goes. You got Seth Carr, his teammate, right behind him. Oh, big swap there for Carr on landing, and then a lapped rider going down in front of Hunt. Now allows Seth Carr back into the fray. Dropping down off the top of the hill, Seth Carr inside to out. Trying to go, I thought maybe he tried that far inside line, but chose to back out of it. Is that Matthew Leblanc? I think that is the same Matthew Leblanc that rides for Star right now. I know the real Matthew LeBlanc was doing amateur races in Sim, so I can't imagine another Matt LeBlanc would suddenly be racing a pro race here tonight. So I'd have to imagine that's him. But I didn't know that he liked going by Matt LeBlanc. I thought he liked Matthew. And in the game right now, he is going by Matt LeBlanc. Go back and find him. There it is. 9:23 on the hashtag Free Larry, hashtag GDK ride. What are they talking about when they're saying hashtag Free Larry? Because that's also on Chris' post there. Anybody know? So Cooper Hunt, now that he has gone back into second place, is going to put his eyes onto his teammate out front. 150.8 and 148.6 out of Johnson. So Johnson last time by 2 whole seconds faster. Free Larry. Still not sure what that means. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know what happened to Phil's. I know it is gone, though. I'm not sure what happened to Phil's ski and snowboard KTM program. I'm assuming it just had something to do with Braden Carter. But I don't know what he's doing now then, because he was the one that set up that whole program and was running it. And I believe the Carter family has something to do with Phil's ski and snowboard, so that's how that whole thing came together, but I'm not 100% sure why it's gone. I would just have to imagine that's part of the reason why. Woo, Cooper Hunt going in deep at the top of the hill. All right, so we are under 2 minutes left to go in this one. Cooper Hunt goes 151.9, a 147.7 out of Payson Johnson out front. He is absolutely flying out front right now. Got Hunt, then Seth Carr still third. Sullivan fourth. Trevor Burns is in fifth. Logan Leitzel, he was in sixth. Is he going to stay there as Matherly comes up alongside? This is a good battle, little one brewing here. Leitzel going to try to regroup and just pull right back away from Matherly if he can. Down past the mechanics area. And time getting set to expire here in about a minute's time. Then they will have that 2-lap board displayed for the leaders the next time they come through. Ooh, Matherly almost dropping the nose there off the top of the hill, but a nice job at saving it. And indeed, it does look like Leitzel's pulled away, but now Leitzel goes down, so Matherly and Wilson are going to go through. And Jaden Wilson is closing up on Matherly in a hurry. Going to actually try to go up the inside here down the hill. Pulling up alongside. Goes to the outside here. It's just not quite enough to get it done. Dylan Adams trying to get out of the way. It's going to allow Wilson to go by as Matherly nearly had to come to a stop. That's not necessarily how you draw it up if you're Jaden Wilson, but it works nonetheless as he goes on through. The time has expired. Our leaders are already through the flag, though, so it looks like it is actually 3 to go. And I think only Johnson was the guy that made it actually through the line before time expired, so all these other guys still looking at a 3-lap board, essentially. Oh, Seth Carr, OJ, and down. That allows Sullivan by up into 3rd. And Trevor Burns also just slipped through into 4th there as Carr finally righted the ship, but Jaden Wilson did not go by. Got Matherly, Shirley, and Trevin Thompson together here with Leitzel. Got 4 riders together. Shirley trying to hook in that rut, and the rear end just kind of sliding into it, caused the front end to hook up out of the rut, and he's losing a lot of drive out of the corner, so Leitzel's trying to take advantage, and a big one. Shirley lands in the braking bumps and swaps into Logan Leitzel, who was trying to go up the inside. Obviously not intentional from Shirley, but I don't think Leitzel cares. It's always frustrating when you feel like you have a pass made and something like that happens. So it's back to the drawing board a little bit now for Leitzel once again. Devin Davis settling in behind him. Let's go back to our leader real quick because I just want to see if he's going to get the white flag or not. He's got 3/4. Launching out to flat. Carrying speed down this long mechanic straightaway. Longest straightaway on the track, so of course it's going to be the mechanics area. Over that finish line jump, no white flag. So yeah, 2-lap board is out, and I'll tell you what, Cooper Hunt's not out of this thing. Although he just put down a 2:01.6, a 2:07.7 out of Payson Johnson out front. So not sure if Johnson maybe crashed and Hunt got the lead and then Hunt immediately crashed it back again or something. But suddenly these guys who were pretty far ahead of Sullivan are not that far anymore. So now Johnson working up behind Chris Post there, going to put him a lap down. Go a little long on the triple. And Hunt, he's back here, but it seems like every time Johnson's on 2 wheels, he's pulling away. So Hunt has got to hope for his teammate to have a mistake. Either way, got to give credit to both of them because both were outside of the top 10 off the start, maybe even as far back as somewhere closer to 20th or so. And they have both found their way forward to be first and second in this race while they are in the midst of a championship fight against each other. So even though Hunt is going to lose 3 points to Johnson in this one, they are still both trying to maximize their effort here, and Hunt going to come through potentially with a second in this one. Johnson looking at a race victory as he comes down past the mechanics area to pick up the white flag this time through. up and over that finish line jump. So one more lap to go for Johnson. Hunt still there second. Sullivan third. Ooh, Jaden Wilson launching out to flat in fourth. And not too far behind him is Seth Carr. As the lap rider swivels out of the way a little bit there. Getting down to the nitty-gritty though. Can Jaden Wilson hold off a charge from Seth Carr? Not going to help right there with that mistake, and Seth Carr got a great drive around the corner. He is going to pull up almost alongside over the tabletop. Now goes to the outside, but that inside is the preferred option there. Still, Carr gets a good drive up the hill, but then he has to go to the second rut again based on his momentum. 79 going down and almost crossed into Wilson's path. That could have been deadly. In the end of this one, though, Johnson appears like he will survive the storm. A couple late crashes almost gave the race lead back to Hunt, but Johnson survived all of the mistakes and the miscues to put down some of the best laps of the moto consistently, and he's going to be rewarded with a race victory here as he comes up to the finish line jump. And here it is, MX2 Race One in Portugal goes to Payson Johnson. Nice little underflip barrel roll over the finish line jump as well. His teammate Cooper Hunt will finish up here in second and will provisionally fall to 3 points back in the championship. Luke Sullivan back with us at this week, essentially. He was supposed to maybe try to come back for Fox Raceway last week, but obviously the delayed schedule with the server issues pushed it all back to this week. So Sullivan back with a vengeance. He goes onto the box in his first moto back. Jaden Wilson comes through and ends up fourth in this one. Seth Carr holds on for fifth by the looks of it. Cade Matherly up to sixth. Trevor Burns seventh. Ooh, Tharp was down in eighth. That cost him a spot. Yes, Leitzel went through. So Leitzel up into P8 here with a few turns to go. Tharp trying to fight back, but cross ruts, that's going to probably cost him enough time to not get back on him there. So Tharp back to ninth. Casey Cochran, he moved his way back inside the top 10. Ooh, Thompson, who led this race at one point, just went down in 11th. So Davis is going to go back by Devin Davis up to 11th. Trevin Thompson into 12th. Seth Shirley is here in 13th, and he just double fell off. So legs off at the bottom of the hill, picked it up, and immediately looped out. But he is the last rider on the lead lap. Chris Post was the first rider a lap down. He ends up 14th in this one. Will Clark ended up 15th. 16th was Tyler Shields. 17th for Dylan Love. 18th for Daniel Irvine. 19th was Ryan Swanson. And 20th went to Connor Austin on the TemeculaMotorsports.com KTM. All right, 2 riders still to finish, now just 1. And we'll get those cuts in to see whether or not anything changed inside of these points paying positions. As there we go. Nothing. Payson Johnson solidified as your winner in MX2 Race 1 here at Agueda. Oh, why does this guy always come back? Super annoying. All right, I'm going to go to intermission while I kick this guy from chat again. But welcome back in studio. Kellen Brower hanging out, having a good time. All right, there we go. I think I got him. Trevin Thompson. I gave it everything I had in the first half. You had us in the first half. Not gonna lie. No, Owen Reimer, MXGP Race 1 is coming up next. So get ready for that in just a moment. Awake says, Ayo! What is up? How's it going? And 450's up next. Luke Sullivan joining us in chat as well. Says good first ride back. So he's pretty happy with hitting the box. First time back since round 8, I believe, of the Nationals. Or 9, right? You did Budds Creek too. So it was, yeah, round 9 of the Nationals. Took basically a couple rounds off. A round, but 2 weeks essentially. 450 time indeed, Invincible Membrane. Getting ready to load up. There is MXGP Moto 1. Yikes, only 19 dudes. There's only 25 guys that had laps. Congratulations to anybody that made the moto here tonight. You're gonna score some points. That's gonna be a yikes from me, dog. What's up, Luke? How you doing? Gucci 111 likes the Yogi kits. They're looking pretty fresh. Fresh indeed. Oh, man. Yeah, Sullivan nervous about leading again. Don't know what to do with those hands sometimes. So the official status of Phil's KTM is, quote, just drama. Oh, Devin Davis signed up without trying to qualify for this race last week. Did 3 laps last week in the first moto and haven't touched sim since. So he's happy with 11th as he hits us with a heart emoji. Good to hear it. Always like when you guys are stoked on your efforts. Sometimes an 11th feels like a win if you're not putting that much time into it, for sure. Hadley Gainford asks, how are you? I'm doing fantastic, Hadley. How are you doing tonight? Actually, cannot believe I didn't actually like load into the server. We was still seeing stuff. There's only 19 guys on the gate. Come on, JLV. Why do you time out so fast in this game? All right, so here are the 19 riders: Braden Castaneda, Caden Speck, Jet Wisdom, Colby Eaglin, Jacob Hubbard, Aaron Rockefeller, Alexis Leclerc, Matthias Janis, Austin Baird, Chase Donovan, Robert Wilson, Luke Magnetti, Brett Thomas, Jeffrey Bruns, Caleb Hall, Tyler Lang. That's it. There's actually only 18 guys here tonight. All right, fun times in between motos here, but we got 450 Moto 1 coming up, also known as MXGP Race One. I miss the series being called MX1 and MX2, if I'm honest. I always felt like that's how it should be classified, like F1, so it's MX1. We should also have Supercross be SX1 and SX2, in my opinion, instead of 450 and 250, especially if we're going to start having electric bikes get into the fray or anything like that, because then you can't call it 450 and 250. And then on top of that, a 250cc two-stroke can't even race a 250 class, so it's just a whole kerfuffle. It should be called SX1 and SX2, in my opinion. Anyway. Get racing here in MXGP race number 1. Let me get that moto timer up. And here we go. 30 car to sideways. Revs are up. And the gate is down in Portugal. Who's going to get that all-important hole shot? Leclerc is not going to get it. He is flying mid-track into the first corner. It's going to be Colby Eaglin with the Race Tech Hole Shot Award. So Eaglin leads. You got Magnetti right there behind him in second off the top of the hill. Adam Holm with a good start in third. Robert Wilson crossed up with Caleb Hall. I think I see Lang just inside of the top 10 out there on the 4. Going to the outside, but Leclerc was definitely down halfway down the start straight, so I think he's coming from dead last, which is only 19th to be fair. It's not that far back. Brendan, I think the track is going to break down the same, honestly speaking. Might break down a little bit more in this 450 class, just seeing the 450 riders dig into the ruts a little bit harder with the power. But mostly, I think the track is going to kind of get the same chop, ruts, etc. throughout the moto. Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Gucci. I need to fix that in my intermission screen. And real quick, Scotty McGrady asking, you not announcing the North American Outdoor Series on bikes? Honestly speaking, I do not believe I will be able to announce any of those races. I hang out with family on Saturday and Sunday, and if I don't do that, then I'm working all Saturday and Sunday by covering pro motocross in real life. So I've strictly never uploaded anything on Saturday and Sunday in SYS. I've never live streamed Saturday or Sunday events in MX Simulator. So no, I don't think I will be announcing it, but I need to get back to those guys, obviously, about the title sponsorship thing, and I promise I will. Just been super busy with Fox Raceway, my hometown race this past weekend, and going to it and doing all the media stuff that we were doing, so I'll get back to those guys, I promise. And shout out to my opinion, I should say, my opinion in chat. Thanks for hanging out. Colby Eaglin leads lap number 1 from Luke Magnetti. So you got Magnetti and Lang right there. Lang already trying to work his way up into second place in the early runnings of this one. Maybe heard about Leclerc crashing off the start and sensed an early opportunity. He's got to make up 22 points. Man, I just saw Leclerc in the background is already in 5th. How does he do it? It's like Ken Roxon on the first lap, I swear. If he gets a bad start, which is rare, he passes so many dudes on the opening laps. He never has like a big crash that leaves him dead last across the line at the end of lap 1 or anything like that. So I don't understand how he does it. He just went from basically 18th to 5th. And already trying to work up to, is that Hall? That's Janice, excuse me, on the 130. Also regarding Saturday, Sunday uploading and all that stuff, from day 1 too, I always viewed Saturday and Sunday as like days that us as gamers should like try to get outside. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing that they're running that series on a Sunday, because maybe that's all the time they have. They don't have weeknights that they could do it. But you know, personally speaking, when I started the channel, I mean, I would go riding pretty much every weekend and like getting outside and doing that stuff, and I don't get to do it that often anymore, but I still try to spend my weekends getting outside and doing stuff. I feel like I'm cooped up inside or, you know, working all week long, so it's nice sometimes to just go out and enjoy the weekend. So always try to promote getting you guys out there on your dirt bikes on the weekend and having a good time if possible, but I get why they would run a race on Sunday as well. Leclerc's fastest lap is not going to be that good just yet, because he did, well, I did a 49.4 right there, up to 4th now, and it looks like Lang might be about to go to the lead on Eaglin. So Eaglin versus Lang out front, with Leclerc trying to move into 3rd. Nice scrub into the back section here. Look at this outside for Lang, then down the hill. Man, easily done in the end. Not sure if there was a mistake up the inside from Eagland. But either way, Lang has gone to the front. MXGP Race 1 here in Portugal. So up and over the finish line, jump on to lap number 4, 3 laps in the books. And it's now Lang from Eagland, Janice. Got Leclerc coming across there in 4th. Agnetti over there in 5th. Why does this guy keep coming back? I ban him and then he just like creates a new account. Super annoying. Sorry about that, people in chat. Oh, Leclerc goes down. Big one there for the Frenchman. And there is a little bit of a dent in the armor, if you will. Leclerc had been really good through the early stages of this one, but now suddenly falls back from that crash. He's going to end up here battling with Holm, and that's Hubbard there on the 778 around the outside. Look at Hubbard trying to pull up alongside Holm, but he's going to almost jump off the track. Squares back off. Oh, crossover. Whew. Good move in the end, though, by Hubbard to not take Adam Holm down either. So now Leclerc is closing back up on Castaneda, then Magnetti would be ahead of that as Leclerc drifted back to 6th. It's still laying out front from Eagland. And now Leclerc trying to work up here onto Castaneda for 5th. Scrubbing over the finish line jump. A nice one there for Castaneda. Staying a little bit lower, but Leclerc going long, landing out to flat there, but fortunate to have that suspension just soak it all up. What is up, Speedin'? How you doing tonight, good sir? Oh, Castaneda down. Got the anthill up the inside a little wrong. I think he was indecisive about his line choice there, and indecisiveness on this ruddy of a track is always going to hurt you. What kind of gear is he running? Good question. I don't know, actually. That is shift. It's a shift gear. Kind of just like a very basic gray with a little black stripe across the jersey, and obviously the shift logos on the sleeves, and it actually says shift on the pants. Not too shabby of a look. Kind of looks like the Renan gear, which Renan is Pete Fox's new project, and Pete Fox obviously is from Fox Gear, so he is going to make stuff that probably looks a little similar to Fox, but different enough that he can call it his own. Back to our race leader, though, Tyler Lang. Not even 10 minutes into this thing, and it is still very close at the front. Eagland is keeping Lang close. And both of these riders have now dropped fellow teammate Matthias Janis back there in 3rd. It's like Leclerc has caught Magnetti for 4th. Look at this charge up the inside from Leclerc, trying to get the 13 of Luke Magnetti. Hasn't got it yet, but now gets a good line through the top of the hill there. Switches back up to the inside here. Just trying to go wherever Magnetti is in, and so far it's almost worked. Up alongside into the top of the hill here. Magnetti's got the inside line, but Leclerc hits the corner hard and makes the pass. What a move. Great move there from Alexis Leclerc. The number 1 machine goes to the front. Or not the front, I should say, goes to 4th. My mind all jumbled up there because the Underground RC guys are still 1, 2, 3. Next up for Leclerc would be Janis here in 3rd, as our leaders continue to be Lang and Eagland, very close. But Lang is maybe starting to put a few more bike lengths on his teammate. Owen Reimer wants a lap time check, so we'll give it to him. A 48 dead last time through for Lang, but let's check out what he does this time by. He's going to put down a 47.2 there for Tyler Lang, a 48.6, so Colby Eagland puts down his best lap of the race so far. Matthias Janis had done a 49.5, just put down a 52.2, so he's a little bit off of what we're seeing out front. And a 47.8 for Leclerc, so he just resets his best lap of the race, but still not matching what Lang's doing out front. 50 flat for Magnetti, 47.8 out of Hubbard, so Hubbard matching Leclerc's pace right now from P6. A 52.1 over the line goes Braden Castaneda. Good run so far for him. A 54.5 for Jet Wisdom, a 52.2 for Caleb Hall, and a 55.1 last time through for Jeffrey Bruns. Kind of interesting to see that Lang, pace-wise right now, has the upper hand on Leclerc. And as we go back to Leclerc here in fourth, you can see he is still trying to catch Janice. Long amount of time still left in this moto, though. We're just about to hit 18 minutes still to go. Becca Kendall wants to know, is there a Supercross in MX Sim? There absolutely is. Moto Options Supercross. Race Factor Gaming Supercross, also known as Moto Options Supercross, has been running for 11 years now. And the first ever MX Simulator Supercross Championship back in 2010. So we've been going at it for 12 years. But obviously that happens when Supercross happens. We're doing motocross right now. So you're going to have to check back in January for some more Moto Options Supercross action in MX Simulator. As Leclerc continues to close up on Janice. Gap has slowly been coming down, but Janice, ever fast as he is, seems like he is just doing enough so far to keep Leclerc behind. Doesn't look like Tyron Tomic is racing tonight, as Michelle Sellings in chat is asking. We'll go through the field and check real quick. Got Leclerc, Hubbard, Magnetti, Castaneda, Wisdom, Hall, Bruns, Bear, Holmes, Speck, Rockefeller, Donovan, Wilson, Uinaka, and Thomas. Is that Yonaka? Uinaka? Sorry if I'm saying it wrong, but how about him out here on a 350 tonight? Just giving it. Back to Leclerc, Janice. Oh, Janice! Landed sideways, and that underground RC cow he kicked out from underneath of him. It was certainly a little bit dicey. I am indeed going to Hangtown this weekend, Lancer. So hopefully I'll see you there. Or anybody else that wants to meet up as well, let me know. Be there probably most of Friday, all of Saturday. Sometimes I'm busy, but if you tweet me or DM me on Instagram or something like that, usually I'll be able to find time to come out and hang out. And this battle continues. Leclerc and Janice, a little mistake there for Janice, had to kind of fall into the rut. So Leclerc got really close. Now he launches out down past the mechanics area, up the inside before the finish line jump, and there's the move for third. So Leclerc takes over P3, and now he will try to set sail after Eagland and Lang ahead. Let's go on board with Lang and just listen to him work his magic out here in the lead. is a lap with Tyler Lang, your race leader, a 46.6 laid down by the man himself. He is looking very comfortable out front as he now pulls out to a 7.6 second lead. We'll give you guys a top 20 rundown here halfway through MXGP Race 1 in Portugal. This is brought to you by R-Jerky. Head over to eatrjerky.com. That's eatrjerky.com. Use the code SYS20 for 20% off your order and get some delicious beef jerky. Seriously, guys, I talked to the Wageman brothers this weekend. Sounds like you guys aren't using that code. I'm doing myself a Daytona disappoint that code isn't being used. I would like that you guys keep using that code and we keep them on board for next year if possible, as Tyler Lang dumps it out front. That is probably going to be enough to lose the lead. It will indeed, and it's going to be enough to allow Leclerc through as well. So a crucial change there before we get going through this top 20 rundown. But let's get through it done quickly here. So now your new race leader, Colby Eaglin, Underground RC number 40, moves into the lead ahead of Alexis Leclerc, the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna Factory Racing Machine. Number 1 machine sits 6 cents in second. Don't know what I just said right there. Had a stroke apparently. Tyler Lang in third on the number 4 Underground RC Cowie. And right behind him in fourth is his teammate Matthias Janis on the 130. Fifth is Jacob Hubbard on the Phil's Ski and Snowboard KTM number 778. Sixth for Luke Magnetti on the BPC number 13. It's seventh for Braden Castaneda on the Underground RC number 12. Caleb Hall runs in P8 on the number 45 Underground RC Cowie. Ninth for Jet Wisdom, the number 99 BPC Yamaha. And 10th is Adam Holm on the number 2 atom.com Kawasaki. 11th, Caden Speck, Yogi. That is the 39 machine. New Yogi program here for him as well. Jeffrey Bruns in 12th on the 333 atom.com Cowie. 13th for Austin Bear on the Yogi Designs number 64. 14th is Aaron Rockefeller on the Underground RC number 65. Here's 15th, Chase Donovan on the number 73 Pro Line Designs machine. 16th for Tyler Uenaka on the 52 Stance Ride. Robert Wilson on the number 98 BPC Yamaha back in 17th. And Brett Thomas is out of this moto on the Underground RC Cowie in P18. Back to our leader, Eagland, as things are certainly tightening up at the front. Janis and Leclerc now together. Something happened to Lang. Looks like he's fallen back a little bit as Leclerc tries to deal with Janis. Janis goes high around the outside, but he's going to try to fight back. Up to the other side here. Leclerc just swoops around the outside to make the pass for second. Lancer says, do you have any tips for senior year of high school? So far, it's pretty tough. My senior year was kind of easy, but I purposely got like ahead on school through my junior year so I could take one less class my senior year. I had a very easy schedule most of my senior year. Took like cooking class, did a bunch of whole lot of nothing, kind of. I did still have a couple honors classes that I took, but for the most part, it was pretty easy. Honestly, what you need to do as a senior in high school is like start mentally checking out from high school and not focus so much on like the cliques or friendships or anything like that. Like, yes, it's still good to have friends, but the reality of the situation is that most of your friends you have in high school, you're not going to keep in contact. I have about 3 people I knew in high school I still am in contact with. One of them is my wife. The other 2 are just friends that I still hang out with. Everybody else I knew in high school I don't talk to anymore. So anybody that goes to high school, like, I feel like you get into this weird stage where you're like, high school is the top, and the people that are popular in high school are the best people in the world for some reason. But like all the jocks that I knew in high school still don't do really anything. So like you got to focus on yourself, focus on, you know, your career path, what you want to do with your life, make something out of your life. And senior year is kind of that transition where you're going to turn 18, you're going to become a real adult, gonna have a lot more responsibilities, so you got to soak up kind of the enjoyable aspects of high school while you're still in it. Got to have fun, got to enjoy the free time that you get and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely try to turn your attention to the real world, really. High school is not the real world, I promise you that. My favorite IRL pro is retired, and I do not have a current favorite IRL pro. So we got a battle for the lead coming up. Colby Eagland and Alexis Leclerc. Nothing in it between them. Lang is right behind if this thing gets a little bit gnarly out front, and this is kind of the battle we were all wanting to see. Eagland trying to hold off Leclerc while Lang closes in, and this has the makings of being a good one. Leclerc just trying to get around Eagland before Lang even has a chance to get close. But it seems like Lang must have went down before the finish line jump. He has lost touch with this group, and now Leclerc, sensing an opportunity, might go up the inside here into turn 1. And he's going to force Eagland out and make the pass. And Leclerc did not want to waste a second longer behind Eagland. So through he goes, and now just under 8 minutes left. Yeah, young life. I had everybody should know who this is, Byron Downen. Byron Downen graduated high school when he was 16. And it wasn't like he was trying to race or get out. He was just that ridiculously smart. And now he's an accountant and doesn't race sim anymore. Hence the real life part. I feel like a lot of what you see in this game, you have some guys that have definitely hung around and are still grinding and putting in the motos. Leclerc's a name, Fjellberg, Devin Davis, these guys, you know, they still kind of make time to race sim. Quite honestly, the reason I retired from sim is I did not have the time. I seriously did not. I honestly don't even have that much time to do these broadcasts every week, but I try to make the time. And just came down to priorities, you know. Do I want to spend time on focusing on my career, spending time with my family? Don't want to miss opportunities like that, or do I want to keep trying to be a pro in sim? It's pretty much what I had to weigh the options. Who won the 450 Supercross Championship and the 250 Supercross Championship? You're talking about in this game? 450 Supercross champion was Braden Carter. 250 East champion was Colby Eagland. 250 West champion was Payson Johnson. So Eagland now running second in this race, was your East champion earlier this year. Braden Carter, who is not here tonight, was your 450 Supercross champion. And Payson Johnson, who we saw just win MX2 Race One, was your 250 Supercross West champion earlier this year. So Eagland is going to be moving up to the 450 class. It remains to be seen whether Johnson will elect to do the same, but look for Carter to defend that number 1 plate next year. Back to the battle for second place. Eagland versus Lang, and this is going to be crucial for Lang because he has to go get Leclerc, and he's got to do it quickly. Lang gonna scrub around the outside, crosses back over. Now goes inside here. And an outside to in move works. So Lang goes up in a second. Now the question is, can Lang straight up run down the defending world champion Alexis Leclerc? If he cannot, Leclerc will command a 25-point lead into the final 3 motos of this season. And getting to a point now where Leclerc could even wrap it up a moto early. It's still pretty impossible that he actually wraps it up here tonight. Oh, that was Leclerc down! Leclerc down after the finish line jump. That is going to be a huge break for Lang. As Hubbard also went through. So Eagland and Hubbard now second and third. Leclerc's dropped all the way back to 4th, so that was a huge swing right there. Leclerc went from leading and looking at a 25-point advantage to now losing 7 points, and he's going to look at only a 15-point advantage on Lang if it remains like this for the remainder of the race. Yeah, not for nothing in MX Bikes right now, but I feel like their community is still at the stage where it's about having fun creating stuff for free. which Sim certainly mostly is not at anymore. And I get that a lot of people still do stuff for free, like you did, Lancer, and that's great. But yeah, like the first, I don't know, like 6-7 years of Sim, everything was all community-based. Everything was shared files. Let's make the game better. Let's make it look better, feel better, etc. And then some things happened, and now everybody makes you buy something in this game, which is what it is. But I think the MX Bikes community isn't quite ready for that. 2.4-second lead for Lang. So he's certainly not necessarily stepped away from his teammate Eagland. Eagland is keeping him close. 46 dead last time by 2 for Lang. He was certainly on the move. 48.3 this time by Eagland. 49.5. So that gap stretched out a little bit. Then Leclerc now back into third, 58.9 with the fall-off crash, obviously. Hubbard trying to fight back, though, on the Frenchman. And if they get a little frisky, Matthias Janis is right behind. So we got all 5 of our leaders within maybe 10 or so seconds of each other still, with 2.5 minutes left on the clock. This could get fun. It's already been pretty fun, but it could get funner, all right? Eagland shorts the table coming down the hill, and Leclerc now sensing an opportunity to quickly shoot his way back into second place. Only losing 5 points currently in this moto to Lang. Would like it to only be 3, but ideally would like it to be absolutely none and flip the other direction if possible. Hubbard with a big kick-out whip there. Trying to keep Leclerc honest while Leclerc works up to Eagland ahead. They float up to the top of the hill. 3-rider battle for second place. Through the wave section again, Leclerc triples up the inside and makes the move on Eagland. Quickly done in the end. Now look at Hubbard up the inside. He wants to go with him as Eagland tries to fight back around the outside. These guys trying to respond to that pass by the number 1 machine. Both launching out to flat. Hubbard riding that rear tire down past the mechanics area. And 1 minute left on the clock. So time should expire this time by 4. Your race leader, Tyler Lang. And now the question begs, can Leclerc catch Lang? 47.1 to a 47 flat last time by, 4.7 second gap. But now Leclerc has free air, and Lang is about to hit a couple lapped riders. Gap is coming down a little bit. Lang is still not cleared that lap traffic. Who is that lap traffic anyway? That is Caden Speck and Jet Wisdom battling for 11th. So they are obviously in the midst of a good battle between each other. They don't really want to move and allow either rider to make ground on one another, but get that blue bar. You got to get away, allow Lang through. This is going to be Wisdom letting him go by. Lang hops up the hill. Uh-oh. Oh, Leclerc was down, and now he's fallen behind Janis. Back to P5. So that is 2 more potential points to swing at 9 points, maybe. Oh, this would be huge, and I feel like if you're the Underground RC team manager right now, I don't know who it is. It might even be Lang. You are begging to have these guys hold Leclerc off at almost all costs. You got to make an aggressive pass to keep him behind you. Do it. Right now, Janis trying to hold steady. He's going to make a mistake. Leclerc is going to shoot up the inside. Janis trying to fight back. Has nothing in response. Leclerc back into 4th. Here is Hubbard getting collected with Speck before the finish line jump. Not sure what transpired there, but Eagland is now snuck away to the tune of 6 or so seconds. And now Leclerc going to sense an opportunity to close on Hubbard. Janis is trying to fight back, though, to the number 1. Weird to see these late crashes out of Leclerc. That has not been his MO of late. Hopping into the bumps, the 99 of Jet Wisdom down there on the inside. Lang from Eagland. Hubbard, and then Leclerc. You can see Hubbard right there now. Leclerc has caught him very quickly, and a quick mistake is all it takes. Leclerc through on Hubbard. Janice trying to follow suit and go around Hubbard as well, as Leclerc now sprints away from this group a little bit, and now it's back down to just a 5-point swing in the favor of Lang. From 22 down to 17, provisionally speaking. Two-lap board has been displayed. The white flag is coming out next time by. And the absolute last thing Leclerc can do now is crash again. Does not want to let these guys go back by, especially this late in the race. He will not have time to catch him. Oh, Hubbard into the rear tire of Leclerc. Now Leclerc slides out, and then Hubbard hits him going up the hill, and Leclerc has a legs off. So Hubbard gets going still ahead of Leclerc as the white flag has been displayed. I thought that might be Magnetti coming, but it's actually Wisdom. The Magnetti is still back there, though, just in case Leclerc goes down again. And we are back to once again looking at a 9-point swing. Well, how are the turntables? Late in MXGP Race 1, it seemed like Leclerc was maybe going to pull a little bit bigger of a gap on Lang. Instead, he crashes. Lang takes over the lead. He is on his way to a race victory, and perhaps pretty much having the gap to Leclerc. Going from 22 down to 13 if Leclerc stays back in 5th. He is trying to close back up to Hubbard in this one. But man, if he gets a little bit overzealous and goes down again, Magnetti might be right there to take over and push him back to 6th. So how much do you dare risk if you're Leclerc here? You've already got the championship lead. You're going to take maybe a 13-point advantage into the final 3 motos. Don't want it to drop and be a 12-point advantage if you can prevent it. Definitely does look like he is. Oh, Hubbard down! Hubbard slides out coming out of the corner and flies down the hill. Down he goes. That'll move Leclerc back to 4th. And back to a 15-point advantage on Lang. Provisionally speaking, we'll have to see official results from the race after penalties are applied, of course. But down past the mechanics area for the final time, Tyler Lang is going to get it done here. MXGP Race 1 in Portugal goes to the number 4 machine. It's Tyler Lang's victory at Agueda. Colby Eagland will cross the line 2nd. Matthias Janis will end up in 3rd in this one to make it an underground RC 1-2-3. And Leclerc survives to come through in 4th. Hubbard will kick himself a little bit. He had 4th for sure right there, but a small mistake in the end is going to cost him a top 5 as well. Magnetti goes through into 5th. And Hubbard crosses in 6th. He's definitely disappointed right there. Castaneda pirouetting. Should end up 7th in this one. 8th will be Adam Holm. Caleb Hall will be 9th. He's the last rider on the lead lap. 10th was Jeffrey Bruns. 11th for Jet Wisdom. 12th, Austin Bears. He crosses over the line. Aaron Rockefeller, 13th. Caden Speck there in P14. Chase Donovan's going to get 15th. He's the last rider a lap down. And the first rider 2 laps down was Tyler Uinaka. With Robert Wilson kind of just messing around, it looks like. But he is still going to end up 17th, so he'll pick up 4 points. Brett Thomas, DNFs, but he'll end up 18th, so he'll pick up 3 points in this one. As we wait for a couple more riders still to cross. Hall, Adam Holm coming through. Adam Holm is just tiptoeing in his jorts up this jump right here. And finally crosses P8. And we wait for Caleb Hall. Finally give us some cuts out of this one. Braden Carter says, "Hey Kellen, nothing happened to Phil's. We just have fewer riders because most of the 250 riders left, and I'm banned for 1 week. Okay, so Phil Ski and Snowboard KTM is still there. Just all the 250 guys leaving the program, it sounds like, and no Braden Carter this week because he's dealing with a suspension. All right, cuts. Let's see what happens. Nada. Tyler Lang, your winner in MXGP Race 1. All right. MXGP Moto 2 coming up next. Race 2, etc. Cross Weeze retired till Supercross. So we won't see Zoa Cross out anymore. So welcome back in studio. Kellen Brouwer here, bringing you guys the action from the MX Simulator Grand Prix of Portugal. And MX2 Race 2 is coming up next. How we doing tonight in chat? Almost 100 of you guys still here. Good to see you guys. How big of a point lead does Leclerc have? Well, now it is down to just 15 points on Lang. It was 22 entering, but now 15 provisionally speaking going into the second moto. Invincible Membrane 909 says he's got to go. Bye-bye, Kellen. Bye, everyone. So, good night. Hopefully you had fun watching the first couple of motos, and we'll see you, hopefully, a little bit later on. Slurp says, Kellen, do a lap for us. Oh, yeah. That's going to be a yikes for me, dog. I don't know. I could try. When we load up, I'll give you guys my best impression of a hot lap. I mean, I haven't been pro in this game for like 5 years, so all the skills I did have slowly faded. Anybody that watches my track walk series knows that. It's been rough. Yes, I know, race postponed. Thank you, my bad. Gotta get rid of that. There, it's gone now. Thank you for reminding me. Skills. Kellen Chapurin says, what's up, Kellen? Well, what's up, Kellen? How are you? Thanks for joining the broadcast. Gasky says, thoughts on Tomac's pace, Moto 2 Paula. Insane, gnarly, etc. I do think that like the 45-second gap that he had is blown a little bit out of proportion because Dylan was clearly trying to manage for the championship and it was balls hot. So I'm looking forward to seeing if Randis like has no cares in the world this last at Hangtown, if he actually sends it and we get a fair like mono Dylan Danger Zone versus Eli Beast Mode this weekend, would be sick. But yes, Tomac was pretty much unbeatable in my opinion there in Moto 2, and dude's freaking gnarly when he's on it. It's insane. I do not know what happened to Rasmus Balzer. All right, let's see what I can do here. Put my focus brain on, hard on the brakes into the first corner, sweep through up the hill. Don't go too fast. Already off the inside of the track. Yeah, I haven't put a single lap on this track yet, so this is really rough because I don't know any of the hotlines really. I've just been watching the race like you guys. Brakes, try to tuck to the second right here. See if we can crank a nice little flick out whip right there. Not too shabby. It's actually not going as bad as I thought it would. It was pretty bad at the beginning, but it's come around a little bit. Oh, that's too far. Yep, knew that was going to be a legs off. I don't know how fast I'm supposed to go on some of these jumps, okay? I haven't hit any of them. I don't know how peaky they are. Let's see if we can get the cheeky double. Nope. He's going to try to triple into the corner, but didn't quite get it. Go outside. Double down the hill. Top, try to get this inside rut. Oh, a little bit too late on the brakes, I think. Drop down. Oh, I'm not gonna get a full lap in. That was my best impression of a quote-unquote hot lap for you fine folks here at Agueda. Get that moto timer up and get ready to drop the gate here in Moto 2 at Agueda. Who's going to get the all-important hole shot as we take a look at Logan Leitzel. He's alongside Cooper Hunt as we drop the gate again in Portugal. Hunt's with a pretty good start. He's going to get kind of pushed into the first turn. Ends up pretty good, though. Seth Shirley picks up the Race Tech Hole Shot Award. Cooper Hunt is going to be right there behind him. I did not see Payson Johnson. He may have gone down in the first turn, as Shirley almost lays it down. And now Hunt's trying to go to the outside. Shirley leading from Cooper Hunt. Matt LeBlanc has got a good start. He's trying to deal with Trevor Burns there to the outside. Burns is going to move up to third. You got Tyler Shields inside the top 5. Luke Sullivan. Riley from Shredco. I don't know who that is. Luke Sullivan. Jaden Wilson. And Dylan Love as well. All in the mix. I do not see Payson Johnson just yet. I'm trying to look and see if I see a flash of the red plates. Man, he might be dead last right now, actually, now that I just looked way back there. Wow. Yeah, he is. I literally don't think there's anybody else behind him. Yeah, he was pretty much dead last. There was one guy, Hayden Stevenson, behind him. Now he finds his way into 30th, so he's got 4 guys behind him. Meanwhile, championship rival Cooper Hunt is out front. He actually just lost second place. He's going to go back to third. He's battling Tyler Shields down past the mechanics area. But this could be a turning point in the championship depending on how far Johnson gets up as Seth Shirley leads lap number 1 here. So Shirley on that atom.com Cowie leads the way from Trevor Burns on the Underground RC number 17. It's Cooper Hunt from Shields and Wilson inside the top 5. Let's go on board with Jaden Wilson and see what it's like in the early stages of this one. On the outside of Shields, scrubs the table very nicely. But Shields going to put him on the ground coming into the corner, although overzealous cross-line attempt there from Wilson perhaps. Now trying to get the ship righted, and Post comes in and goes down. Is that Trevin Thompson, I think, as well, that just hit him. Siebel goes through. Still have not seen Payson Johnson go by. That is just to show how far back the 351 machine is behind the race leaders. Back to our race leaders, as mentioned, Seth Shirley. This is a good start for Shirley, who talked to him earlier in the year, and he was just trying to figure out what's the key to consistency, really, and not having your good and your bad motos. And obviously starts are always part of it, but what I tried to explain to him that I always used was not trying to push any zone. Don't try to go into like beast mode if you get a bad start or anything like that. Ride to your capabilities until you're in a zone, essentially, until you feel that tunnel vision and you're riding smart, you're riding hard, and then start pushing, because then your reflexes are better, your mind is better, instead of doing it while you're not in that zone and you're flustered in the early laps, because then you're going to crash more. And it seems like Shirley has really picked up on a lot of these details where now if he does get a bad start, he rides through the field. And when he gets a good start, he's able to hang out up front for a while. We'll see how he manages with the pressure from behind with Trevor Burns coming into the fray. Burns going to try to pull up alongside here on this table. Shirley goes a little long, and Burns might go to the outside to turn to the inside here at the top of the hill for the lead. Oh, contact, and they both come to a dead stop. Shirley gets up and holds on to the lead for the time being, but Burns certainly threw it in there. So Shirley and Trevor Burns now coming down the hill nearly nose to tail. Up the other side of the valley comes Seth Shirley. And Burns is right there, and Hunt is definitely closing up in a hurry. This is good news for Cooper Hunt, because he wants to see these guys kind of fade into his clutches a little bit here. All the while with his teammate Payson Johnson still somewhere down the field buried and having to do a lot of work. Unlike the MXGP class tonight, we have a pretty full gate in this 250 class. And it is certainly going to help Cooper Hunt's case. Remember, he is only 3 points down of Johnson, provisionally speaking, entering this one. They were dead tied coming into this round, but Johnson won the first moto. Hunt finished second. So now Hunt runs third while Johnson is buried. And a battle for the lead ahead is starting to brew a little bit. Seth Shirley and Burns are still pretty close together, but Shirley's kind of getting away from him. So I want to go back and find where Johnson has made it to. Looks like he's into the points now, up into 17th. And he's going to go to 16th just like that. Launching out to flat and carrying momentum all the way down to that back straightaway. Big scrub over that finish line jump. He is certainly up the intensity. Johnson is probably one of the few guys that I would not give the advice about toning it down in the early laps, because he's just an animal, so he can run a stupendously fast pace, I should say, at the beginning, and not go down. That's something that I nor most people in this game can do. So when you're at that elite level and a talent like Johnson, you can do some things that your competition really can't afford to do, and it honestly helps him a ton as he's going to catch up to a couple down riders right here. That's Pinkerton getting up just ahead of him, and Tyler Blowers as well. Johnson around the outside of Pinkerton. Pinkerton didn't really want to let him go. Still hasn't let him go, actually. But he's going to hold steady for the time being. Now here's Blowers just ahead, and Johnson going to just jump right up the inside and pass him as well. Man, he is weaving through the field quite nicely in these early stages. We are almost 7.5 minutes done. Shirley still leads from Burns. Hunt has lost touch with these guys in third. Cade Matherly in fourth. Leitzel fifth. Shields sixth. Sullivan back to seventh. Siebel runs in eighth. Post up in ninth. Dylan Love is 10th. And surprise, surprise, knocking on the door of a top 10 already. Payson Johnson, 48.9. Is he putting down some good laps in traffic, too? That is, tell you what, that is not an easy feat at all to do. Streaming around the outside comes Payson Johnson. Big scrub off the table. And in the end, makes the pass on Dylan Love into 10th. He is 35 seconds off the lead, so that is more what we need to pay attention to is time-wise. How far back of these guys is he? But this is also MX Simulator, and these guys are going to crash. Can't imagine the leaders aren't going to have at least a few of them in them. So if Johnson is somehow the one that is able to stay on two wheels with this ridiculous pace, he's doing himself a huge favor while those guys try to manage at the front. Around the outside of Chris Post, up into 9th. And it does appear that Beast Mode has been turned on for Payson Johnson. Next up, Jeremy Siebel, former Supercross champion. Running the number 9 here. Got Sullivan, Shields, Matherly, Leitzel. Then there's Hunt. And now the battle for the lead is really on. Burns is caught back up to Shirley. It is yo-yoed a little bit. It seems like Burns had Shirley right on him. And at any moment was going to size up a pass, and then Shirley got back away and actually started putting some good laps together and pulled a gap. Now Burns has maybe figured it out a little bit. Excuse me. Tearing speed off the hill, down the inside. Burns gonna take the race lead away from Seth Shirley. Wow, he made it happen quick and smooth too, just right up the inside in the sweeper. Shirley had a small mistake that probably cost him at least enough time to allow Burns to get a nose in there, and then Burns just ripped that inside rut clean through. And he has taken over the race lead. Burns now out front from Shirley, and a big gap back to Hunt in third. Uh-oh, looks like Johnson has made a mistake. Payson Johnson with a problem now has fallen back behind Dylan Love. And, oh, inside move there, nicely done, but that is only going to benefit Cooper Hunt, who is way up here, dropping down in the valley on the other side of the track. Actually, we'll try to give you guys a little indication of how far the gap is here in just a minute as Johnson comes through. Or as, excuse me, Hunt. So as Hunt launches back onto the start straight here, let's give you guys a quick indication of the gap. So there's Hunt, there's Leitzel. And long gap back to Matherly. There's Shields. There is Sullivan on the 11. There goes Pinkerton, Siebel, and there is Johnson. That just goes to show how far back that gap is already between Johnson and Hunt. That is going to be pretty difficult to get up to that level, I feel like. 14 seconds down is Hunt. See how far back Johnson is on timing and scoring here. So Johnson is 43 seconds, so he's about 30 seconds exactly off of Cooper Hunt. And I mentioned crashes, but I mean, that's pretty much, I don't know, you need to have a lot of crashes. Oh, but Hunt just had one. Hunt allows Leitzel through and Matherly, so he drops back to 5th. Now it's only going to be a 20-second gap, so again, depending on how much crashing happens in this race, you start to open the door of opportunity a little bit more with stuff like that. Leitzel was able to get through, and then Shirley, and hearing that Leitzel ran a burner of a lap time, 46.5. Shout out Gucci111 in chat letting me know. But that is pretty insane for a 250F rider. Those 450 guys are barely touching these times. So Leitzel currently on the move, trying to run down the lead duo. Those two, Shirley and Burns, only separated by about 3 seconds or so. Lap traffic coming into play a little bit here as Leitzel throws dualies over the finish line jump with him. And he moves aside very nicely. 52 dead last time by. Here is Matherly, and Hunt is right on him. But Matherly does not care about the championship picture at all, right? He is trying to do best for him. Matherly running into a little bit of lap traffic here. That's a 233 again. And Hunt's trying to take advantage up the inside. It's not going to work just yet, but he is certainly smelling blood in the water. Going to go to the outside of the top of the hill, and Matherly made a mistake, so Hunt goes through. Hunt back into P4 as Matherly drops back to 5th. And meanwhile, Payson Johnson has moved his way up to 7th. Lap time check on him, 47.4. And he's going to get around Sullivan, perhaps. Well, at least he's going to be in a battle for sure. Luke Sullivan there on the 11. Johnson on the 351. through the wave section at the top of the hill. Johnson is closing up a little bit more. The high centers there on the outside. Whew, filthy scrub coming back down by the mechanics area. That was good stuff. Launches to the outside of that rut right there. Sullivan's done pretty good responding there. Pulling back away. It is still Trevor Burns, though, leading at the halfway mark. We're going to give you guys a top 20 rundown brought to you by R-Jerky. Head over to eatrjerky.com. Use the code SYS20 for 20% off your order. Trevor Burns leads on the Underground RC number 17 machine. Second is Seth Shirley on the number 80 atom.com Cowie. Third, another Underground RC Cowie. It's a 37 of Logan Leitzel. Cooper Hunt runs in fourth on his Underground RC Cowie number 20. Fifth for Cade Matherly on the Stance 195. Sixth is Luke Sullivan on the Yogi number 11. Seventh for Payson Johnson on the number 357 Underground RC Cowie. He's going to try to get to the outside of Sullivan. And he's got him. Nice move. So Sullivan back to seventh. Pinkerton. Ryan Pinkerton in eighth on the Yogi Designs 395. Ninth for Tyler Shields, the Stool Bend 217. 10th, Jaden Wilson on the 260 Impact Cowie. 11th, Trevin Thompson on the Cyber Designs 151. 12th for Dylan Love on the Pro Line Designs 174. 13th goes to Tyler Blowers on the Underground RC number 762. And, the 746, I should say. Braden Tharp on the Yogi 415 right there in 14th. 15th for Casey Cochran on the BPC number 62. 16th for Daniel Irvine on the atom.com number 79. 17th for Chris Post on the Team 2 Dope 164. 18th is Riley on the Shredco 57. 19th for Devin Davis on the Yogi Designs 27. And 20th is Jeremy Siebel on the Impact number 9. Matt LeBlanc still right there knocking on the door for points. I think this would be his first career pro points as well if he gets it done. That'd be pretty neat for him if he gets it around Jeremy Siebold. Chris Post trying to get around Blower is going to do so up the inside. Nice move there. So now the pressure falls on Cooper Hunt's shoulders a little bit here. As it stands, they are back into a dead tie. Cooper Hunt in fourth, Payson Johnson in sixth. That is a 3-point difference. So they are dead even on points, provisionally speaking, again, with about 12 minutes still to run in this moto. And Hunt has really got to go get Leitzel for third, potentially Shirley for second. Trevor Burns has lost a little bit of his lead. Shirley has kept it close. We'll set Shirley here for a minute and see what he's doing. Lap traffic getting out of the way. Nice scrub over the finish line jump down to just 2 seconds. And Seth Shirley most certainly can see the number 17 of Trevor Burns ahead of him. Kind of like dangling a little bit of a carrot in front of him. Boy, would he like to go out and try to win this moto if he can. Might be one of the best opportunities for both of these guys to get it done as well, because Johnson is still doing the chasing. It's been pretty tough to beat him when he's out front this year. Cooper Hunt's also had his good motos, but he is struggling a little bit in this one right now. And it's opened the door of opportunity for Trevor Burns and Seth Shirley. So far, Burns has pulled back away a little bit. Gap is kind of stagnated. Back to Payson Johnson closing up on Cade Matherly, and Matherly just went down. There was a rider down in the corner there. I think that was Will Clark. So Johnson's going to shoot up into fifth here, and that changes the provisional point standings again. Johnson back to the lead by a point. And oh man, this thing is going to come down to the bitter end in this championship, I swear. Could go Johnson or Hunt's way in this last race in Argentina coming up next Monday. I will say though, this is Hunt seemingly cracking a little bit under some of the pressure because he had ample opportunity to go with the leaders. He was the second fastest rider on the track in the first moto, and there wasn't much question about it either. He came from pretty far back to get there, so you would think starting in second place in this one would mean he would be able to get to the front and maybe win this thing. And to slip back to fourth the way he has and just kind of stayed there, it's a little surprising. Oh, Matherly's back through though, and he's brought, is that Seth Carr with him? Seth Carr must be a lap down though. Kind of confused by that. Either way, Johnson's back behind Matherly once again. These gaps have just stayed very consistent. Johnson is down again. Getting together with a couple of lapped riders. Will Clark coming through. Oh, 310. Or is that Hayden Stevenson maybe? Oh, Luke Sullivan down at the top of the hill had just caught up to that group. And there is Jaden Wilson trying to squeak through all the chaos as well. There's lap traffic absolutely everywhere as Ryan Pinkerton also closes up on his new teammate. And that's Wilson going down after the race tech table, so now Sullivan's going to close up on him. It's all kind of kicked off here for what is now 7th place. Between Jaden Wilson, Luke Sullivan, and Ryan Pinkerton. Trevin Thompson's a little further back, but hoping maybe some of these guys get together. Open up the door of opportunity for him to get close. Oh man, Pinkerton almost went through the front door there as he works through some of the lap traffic. And suddenly Payson Johnson's 25 whole seconds behind his teammate Hunt. But he is back around Matherly and into 5th. So once again, back to a single point as the championship leader. And it does kind of seem like we're hitting a bit of a stalemate at the front. Nothing is really changing, but Hunt just went down. That is not going to change his position, but it is going to lose almost any chance he might still have of getting into the top 3 in this race. Man, what the heck are the overalls going to be? I had just now thought about that. Burns was 7th in the first moto, and Shirley was 13th, so quite honestly, they don't factor for the overalls right now. Burns kind of does, but it's going to take something to happen to Johnson or Hunt, really, to switch that. And Sullivan, who was in the mix now, falling back behind these guys a little ways. He was 3rd in the first moto, so he had maybe a chance to get up there and do something about it, but not really going to matter at this point. So now it comes down to kind of Johnson versus Hunt for the overall, and right now Johnson is in position to win it, the 1-5 to Hunt's 2-4. Weird day. Don't often see this kind of a swing in momentum throughout the day, I feel like. But we're down to the final 6 minutes of this moto, and it does seem as though this is kind of where Hunt is going to stay. I don't think he's going to get to Leitzel. Leitzel might get to Shirley, though. That's something to keep an eye on. The 37 machine closing up. Leitzel was 8th in the first moto. Leitzel's trying to push that pace and close up on Shirley to get into second place if he can. And Seth Shirley certainly doesn't want to relinquish it after being this close for this long, and he's still only 6 seconds down of our race leader, so he could have a shot at winning this thing down the stretch depending on what happens. He has to watch out for Braden Tharp. Tharp runs him high. That's going to cost him some time, and Leitzel certainly would have seen that just happen and now knows it's his time. He is going to try to close up quickly here and pounce at the earliest opportunity, but he cross runs at the bottom of the hill and goes down. Leitzel a big off there in a weird section of the track, and he's going to get up now, still third, but suddenly he's a fall-off crash away from Hunt being on him, and that's kind of crucial. How about Payson Johnson now? He's got it down to just 10 seconds between himself and Hunt. 47.3 last time by. He did a 46.4 as his best. This is not over either. We still have basically 10 minutes of this race to go, with the 4 minutes still on the clock plus 2 laps. So these guys are going to push past that time a little bit, then get the 2-lap board. You're looking at maybe 8 to 9 minutes, I guess, of the race still left, and Johnson is still sending it. He is trying to maybe get up there and steal points back away from his teammate Hunt. He does not want this to be a 1-point gap. He's hoping for it to be a lot bigger heading into the final round so he can breathe a sigh of relief. He puts down a 46.3 last time through. Boy, wouldn't this be something if he can do it. That is Jeremy Siebel sitting on the track. Looks like he has called it a moto perhaps and just waiting to disconnect at this point. Ooh, Leitzel has indeed gotten around Shirley. So Shirley must have went down. That is going to help Cooper Hunt sense maybe a little bit more opportunity down the stretch here. 7.8 seconds back for Hunt. Shirley just going the other way up the valley. But then obviously you have to think about the fact that Johnson's just coming down the hill as Hunt goes up the other side of the valley. So if you're Hunt, how much do you push? If you push too hard now, you go down, you give those points back to Johnson. But do you kick yourself if you end up losing this championship by a couple of points? And you knew at this point in time that Seth Shirley was starting to fall back a little bit late in this one, and maybe you could have had a shot at those 2 points for the taking. We're under 2.5 minutes to go, plus 2 laps here. MX2 Race 2 at the Grand Prix of Portugal. And it seems like Seth Shirley might be the target here. Cooper Hunt is closing up. Leitzel has snuck away. It's down to 5.7 seconds. Hunt resets his best lap of the race at a 48.8. Johnson now looking at a 6.9 second deficit. 45.9 Payson Johnson. Time is still not up. This is insane. If he catches Cooper Hunt on raw speed while Hunt has picked up the pace in his own right, I mean, he just gained 3 seconds alone that last time by pretty much. And if he does that 2 more times, he's going to be on him in 2 laps. Digging himself out of a massive hole off the start outside of the points. Pretty much about as dead last as you can be in the early runnings. No! Cooper Hunt went down! Cooper Hunt picking his bike back up has allowed Johnson through. And that switches it again. Now suddenly Johnson is gaining points again in this championship to the tune of 2 more points. He'll be at a 5-point advantage heading into the finale if it stays like this. But now Johnson knows that Shirley is still up the road. He could try to go run him down. He's 12 seconds back. And Cooper Hunt is going to be kicking himself. Johnson weaving through some lap traffic. There's Shirley, there's Leitzel, there's Burns. Unheaded at the front of the field. Shirley just trying to weave his way through this lap traffic. Hey, shout out Carlos Eduardo for the $1.49. I don't know what the R dollars are. But he put up the little like weight logo and a little 24-hour clock. I don't even know how you did that, but shout out. Thank you so much. Ah, it's a Brazilian real. Thank you so much. Had to look it up. I didn't know what it was, to be honest with you. Keeping tabs on Payson Johnson here. Trying to close up on Seth Shirley. There's Leitzel. And Burns now going to come down and get the 2-lap board. So Trevor Burns going to pick up the 2-lap board right there. So 2 to go here in Portugal. Carlos Eduardo Gomez Bezerra says, hi, I'm from Brazil, and I like motocross. How I join on the event. So this event is run by Race Factory Gaming. You can check them out at racefactorygaming.com. This is the Pro Series, so if you've never raced a pro event before, you'll probably need to race some amateur races to qualify for a pro license. Go get yourself an account over at racefactorygaming.com. Petition for your license. They'll let you know what license you've earned, and then you can check out the different series that run through there. They have the EU series you can join, the NA amateur stuff that you can also race. So just get involved there. They tell you what servers you need to go to and how qualifying and everything works out. Just check out racefactorygaming.com. Leitzel getting together with a lapped rider, being told to check out Payson's lap time. Yeah, he did a 45.9, pretty ridiculous. We saw it on board pretty much. Now lays down a 47.5 recently, and he's still pushing the pace, trying to get to Seth Shirley. He's got 2 laps to try to make it happen to get to 3rd. Dylan Love trying to get out of the way. Well, unfortunately, I don't speak Portuguese, Carlos. So just go to racefactorygaming.com. Visit us at racefactorygaming.com. There's nothing in it now between Johnson and Shirley. You can see the number 80 machine has appeared just ahead on the road. And Johnson has been charging all the way forward in this moto. This is his opportunity as the white flag waves to take over 3rd place. They both scrubbed super hard over the finish line jump. Johnson gets it a little bit harder. Johnson to the inside at the bottom of the hill, not the preferred option, and Shirley shoots around the outside, and Johnson almost loops out. Oh, is that his opportunity gone? Still got a whole lap, though, to get back to him. Man, they've absolutely dropped Cooper Hunt. This is rough scenes for the number 20. Oh, that's Leitzel! Leitzel picking it up off the floor from 2nd, promotes Shirley into P2, Johnson up to 3rd. Johnson has the overall win in hand, but Shirley is trying to hold on at least for 2nd place. Oh, look at that scrub from Payson Johnson to the outside. Shirley still has the preferred option, and he's just riding defensively here, putting his bike where Johnson is trying to go, blocking the lines at all costs. Casey Cochran down there on the right side of the track as they go by. Leitzel's picked it up right behind these guys, so he's going to try to get back into the mix if he can. Johnson a little front end tuck there. Meanwhile, up front, Trevor Burns takes the win. Oh, Johnson off to the side of the track. He's going to rejoin, and that is not going to be Leitzel closing up anymore. So something happened to Leitzel. Meanwhile, Shirley has lasted through this barrage of attacks to the flag. And Shirley crosses the line second. Johnson will end up third. Leitzel gets fourth in this one. Fifth is going to go to Cooper Hunt. So provisionally speaking, it is going to be a 7-point advantage for Johnson going into the finale. Cade Matherly will end up in P7, or P6, excuse me. Trevin Thompson is running 7th with Jaden Wilson right behind him, but Wilson's off the track. He's going to try to rejoin and give chase. Meanwhile, Luke Sullivan was 9th, 10th for Daniel Irvine, 11th Casey Cochran, 12th was Ryan Bickerton, 13th Tyler Shields, 14th Dylan Love, 15th for Devin Davis, 16th is going to go to Braden Tharp, 17th for Tyler Blowers, 18th for Chris Post. He's battling with Matt LeBlanc. LeBlanc is going to score points because he made it into 19th, and 20th is 2 laps down, Ryan Swanson. So how about Matthew LeBlanc scoring some points here? Pretty cool for him. And Jaden Wilson got around Trevin Thompson. Good effort there from Jaden Wilson. Trying to speak Spanish to a Portuguese person. I know that's not the same thing, but at least some of it crosses over. Trevor Burns is your winner, though, here in MX2 Race 2. Payson Johnson ends up third, but wins the overall. See if any cuts affected anything. Yeah, Daniel Irvine jumped into 9th. Tyler Blowers. So it looks like everything else stayed the same. Shout out Matt LeBlanc scoring 3 points in this moto. First time in his Race Auto Gaming career he has done that. And Trevor Burns for winning the overall. All right, actually, let me fix this real quick. Turn moto timer off. 450 Moto 2. Hey, back to our intermission screen. Welcome back. Trying to help people out, install the game, and get involved in the series here as we move into MXGP Race 2 coming up. No, this game is PC only. Nope, $42, which is 42. Los Estados Unidos Dolores, I think is how you say it. Yes, Skull X, I do ride a Honda. Thanks for asking. No, it's not on Steam. Check it out at mxsimulator.com. Shout out to Bobo for helping me out translate to Portuguese because I am sucking at it in chat. All right, MXGP Race 2 coming up here. What can Leclerc do to respond to his first moto problems? 15-point gap, provisionally speaking, between him and Lang now. Leclerc looks like he's having fun with it, though. Yeah, my Spanish is garbage. Technically speaking, I took 5 years of Spanish. I took 2 in high school, 3 in college. And I suck. I can read and write it okay. I can't speak it very well. The best I ever got at it, though, was I worked with some co-workers that were Mexican for a while, and they spoke Spanish to each other all the time, so I tried to speak Spanish with them. Decent at it, but definitely not as good as I should be for as much schooling as I did it. I have played MX bikes a ton and continue to play it to this day, and will plan on playing it a lot more in the future. Seth Shirley joining us again. He's stoked on his performance, as he should be. Holding off Mason Johnson to that tune is pretty gnarly. All right, here we go, folks. Final race of the night. It's MXGP Race 2 live on Start Your Systems. 64 of Austin Bear hits the gate. Leclerc versus Magnetti for the whole shot. Way outside. Was that Adam Holm? And that's Leclerc down off the start. Luke Magnetti rips the Race Tech pole shot. Magnetti from England. Castaneda jumping down the hill behind. Jet Wisdom to the outside. You got Janice, you got Hall, you got Dunavant. I do not see Lang. And obviously Leclerc was down in the first couple of turns as well. So that will set us up for quite the interesting race here to see how it all shakes down as Luke Magnetti leads here in MXGP Race 2. A little long on the triple, though. Kind of hopped into the ruts awkwardly. He's got a host of riders coming from behind him that he is going to need to hold off for the next 30 minutes plus 2 laps. 1 minute down, 29 minutes to go. It's England right there in second. England was second in the first moto. Got Castaneda there. Jet Wisdom. And the 130 of Janice. Leclerc is already up to 9th. Trying to see if I can see where Lang is in the mix just yet. Might have been Lang from the outside that snuck in and tried to get the whole shot in. It ended up going terribly bad. No, actually, he is right up here in the mix, actually. Excuse me. He's right behind his teammate Janice in 6th. So he's actually ahead of Leclerc. I thought he was behind him this whole time. He is not. Quick question in chat from Iceman28 says, how much does hitting the downside of a jump matter in these kind of games? It's huge. You really can't overjump in this game very effectively. There are some ways to do it. As you can see right there, Braden Castaneda on the 12, he just cased that tabletop and immediately crashed. Sometimes you can land too hard and have a legs off in this game from casing or over jumping something. So you have to be very precise in this game. You have to hit your marks. You have to land on the backside of jumps. And you have to not swap in braking bumps like Leclerc just did right there. So as soon as Leclerc got around Lang, he immediately crashes in the very next turn and falls pretty much all the way down the field again. Fortunately for him, all the way down the field is pretty much just 18 riders in this one, so he's not going to fall out of points. But that's still not exactly what he was hoping for in the early stages of this one. So our new leader is Colby England on the 40. Remember, he was second in the first moto, so currently sits in a position to claim the overall if it stays as is. Matthias Janice behind him in second, Luke Magnetti in third, and Lang is up to 4th. And already working on Magnetti for 3rd. Lang was your Moto 1 winner and might be hitting his stride here in the series at the right time. Trying to claw this thing away from Leclerc down the stretch. Wait till we get a little bit more settled in the moto before we start figuring out how many points he could gain in this thing if he stays ahead of Leclerc. Right now, it's obviously going to be very good if he stays here and Leclerc stays back where he is. Excuse me. But Magnetti holding Lang at bay for the early stages of this one. Still Janice up in second and Eagland out front. Let's go back and find Leclerc because this is probably going to be pretty fun to watch him try to charge through the field. He's on Castellaneta now for P8. Rider down up the inside. That was a Honda rider. No, it was a KTM, excuse me, of Hubbard. So Leclerc does go to 8th. Now he's trying to go to the outside of Castellaneta to move into 7th. Castellaneta is not going to let him have it easily, though, but he gets pushed out a little bit by Jeffrey Bruns. Leclerc down the right side of the track trying to go for the opportunity. Castellaneta up the inside of Bruns, but Bruns defends well. They both tuck to the inside. Leclerc gets that inside rut super clean, and that is going to be 7th on Castellaneta, maybe 6th on Bruns as well, and it's probably going to be up to 5th as well. There's another rider down off the side of the track. That's Caleb Hall. Oh, Castellaneta into the back of Leclerc there. Leclerc closing up on Bruns. We got a 3-rider battle developing for second. Want to stick with Leclerc and see if he can get into P5 here before long, though. 50.8. Bruns not wanting to let him go by yet. Does a nice couple sequence of scrubs right there. Leclerc tries to get the power down up the inside and scare Bruns out of the main rut. He's going to go up the inside. Bruns goes to the bottom of the hill up the inside here, but Leclerc shoots around the outside to move into 5th place. Back up to this battle for now 3rd as Lang gets around Magnetti to take over P3. He is perhaps noticing Leclerc's charge forward and trying to make quick progress as well to get into the race lead if possible. Makes it up to 3rd now. Sets a sight on his teammate Matthias Janis to try to go up into 2nd. It is one thing that Lang has going for him that Leclerc does not. Teammates. And there are plenty of them out here on this Underground RC Kawasaki team. Now, whether or not these teammates are all going to help Lang in this fight for the title, not necessarily something to keep a close eye on just yet. I feel like that's more of the last round, maybe pulling aside if he can get a couple extra points or something like that. But at least right now, I don't imagine that if Lang gets to Janis, it's going to be one of those titanic battles to try to hold him off. But Janis might be a little bit more stringent if he has to deal with battling with Leclerc like we saw he did in the first moto. We'll see how it plays out, those 7 minutes down, 23 minutes to go. And this is going to shape up to be one heck of a race with Lang closing up on Janis for 2nd. Seems like Leclerc and Lang kind of matching each other's pace right now. Lang just put down a 47.6. Leclerc 47.1. So there you go. Half second in it. Leclerc about a half second faster than Lang. That adds up throughout the races. Around the outside of Janis goes Lang into 2nd place. So next on his sights will be Eagland out front. Eagland's pace, for what it's worth, is 48.9 last time by. Oh, Lang down. Yeah, Lang down and off the bike. That's going to be Leclerc's opportunity. And here he comes. So this is going to be interesting now. Our championship combatants running nose to tail for 4th and 5th. As it currently sits, this would just swing it a little bit more Lang's way down to 13 points going into the finale. Leclerc would obviously like to extend it if possible. Lang off the track and Leclerc goes through. Critical mistakes coming out of Tyler Lang. Just as we talked about him maybe hitting his stride, and it's coming unglued a little bit, but around the outside, he's going to get back around Leclerc. What a move by Tyler Lang to get back into fourth as we look up the track and see Magnetti still hawking Matthias Janus for second. Eagland is just riding his own race out front right now. I don't think he is thinking at all about what's going on behind him, who's there, how close they are. He just knows that if he puts his laps in, he can win this moto and the overall, and I think that's all he really cares about. Meanwhile, the championship fight continues. Lang versus Leclerc. Coming up to 10 minutes into this moto. And somehow this feels like this is only the beginning of how gnarly this battle is going to be throughout the moto between these two. Dropping down off the hill is Lang, with Leclerc still right there. And again, it just kind of seems like they're matching each other's pace. 48.8, 57.4. Obviously, Lang's fall-off crash is what got this position in the first place with Leclerc right on him. And maybe Lang's got some better lines. Leclerc has not learned that outside, seems to have a little bit better flow through it, but Leclerc also uses these insides to his advantage because he can shorten up the line and seem to carry similar speed. Hard into the last turn. 46 dead, Tyler Lang, and a 47.1 out of Leclerc. Reminder that Johnson in the 250 class was doing 45s though. Better down. That's Janus. That is Janus allowing Lang through, but not Leclerc. That is kind of critical. Let's see how hard Janus races Leclerc at this juncture then. Still into the early stages of the second part of this race, second third of the race, if you will. But now suddenly Lang has a buffer. And another thing that's going to help him gain some points if Janus holds Leclerc behind him, because as we currently sit with Lang third and Leclerc fifth, as another 4-point swing Lang's favor down to just 11 points going into the finale. He will have literally cut Leclerc's lead in half going into the final round. If it stays like this, and you can still see Magnetti going up the hill the opposite direction, and only 3 seconds ahead of him is Colby Eagland. Janus, Leclerc, Lang, they're all just about 10 seconds off the lead, so this is still anybody's race for the race victory. Oh, Janus slides it out. Leclerc around the outside is going to move easily through into 4th place. Iceman 28 wants to know, how close is this game to Monster Energy Supercross 4? It is not close at all. It's very challenging, a lot more difficult than Monster Energy Supercross 4, I promise you that. If you picked it up today, it'd take you about 3 months to get decent enough to do a couple laps, honestly. That's why it's a simulator. It's very difficult. It's got more realistic physics, reaction, etc. And some of the guys that are really good at this game, in my opinion, are some of the best gamers in the world. They have impeccable hand-eye coordination. And it's really cool to see them at the peak. So Magnetti just 2.8 seconds down of Eagland. He is kind of slowly reeling in the race leader. Lang in an 8.8 second deficit to the race lead, a 46.3 last time by. He just went a whole second faster than Leclerc last time through. But obviously Leclerc needed to make a pass to go on board with Magnetti. 47 flat to a 48.4, so gained 1.4 seconds last lap alone did Magnetti. And then it kind of yo-yos back in Eaglin's favor. Man, Janice is still right there on Leclerc. I like Sim better because I played it for a decade, and always have enjoyed the simulated games more than I enjoy the arcade games. But I still find enjoyment in Supercross 4 and MXGP 2020 in those games. They're still a lot of fun because they're casual, they're easier to pick up and play, and not have to focus too hard. These games, play them good. You got to focus hard. You got to really tune into them, you know. Those games, I don't feel like you need to do that and still be good at it. All right, we're creeping up on halfway, so why don't we just go ahead and do a top 20 rundown right now before things really start kicking off, because I feel like we're on the verge of something here. So this top 20 rundown is brought to you by atom.com. Adam Holm is out there on the track, but he's also back in his studio making music, and you can check it all out at atom.com. Head over there, check out his merch line, support his career and what he's doing after he's been a part of the MX Sim community for a long time. And we'll get to that top 20 rundown in just a second, because Luke Magnetti just went down out of second place. That's going to allow Lang through into third, or into second, I should say. And Janice and Leclerc are going bar to bar. Leclerc is going to get back around Magnetti. Magnetti is not letting him go. I knew this was about to kick off. I feel like I should have just waited like another 30 seconds and this is going to happen. But let's try to get through this real quick. So Colby Eaglin leads on the Underground RC number 40. Second place for Tyler Lang. On the number 4 Underground RC machine. Third is Luke Magnetti, the VPC Yamaha number 13. Fourth is Alexis Leclerc on his number 1 Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Fifth for Matthias Janice on the Underground RC number 136 is Jacob Hubbard on the Phil Ski and Snowboard KTM number 778. Seventh for Caleb Hall, another Underground RC rider on the 45. Eighth is Austin Bear, the number 64 Yogi Designs machine. Ninth for Adam Holm, the man himself on the atom.com number 2. Moves up to 8th actually as Bear was down. And Braden Castaneda moves up to 9th on his Underground RC number 12, so Bear back to 10th. 11th, Jet Wisdom on the 99 BPC Yamaha. 12th for Jeffrey Bruns on the atom.com number 333. 13th for Chase Donovan, Proline Designs number 73. 14th for Caden Speck on the number 39 Yogi machine. Is this 15th now? I don't even know where I am. 15th, Robert Wilson, the BPC Yamaha number 98. 16th for Aaron Rockefeller, the Underground RC number 65. 17th for Tyler Uinaka on the Stance number 52. And that is it. 17 riders make up this top 20 rundown, brought to you by atom.com. All right, back to Leclerc v. Magnetti for third. Robert Watner says, so Jeffro was sitting in for Langston last AMA race. When will you be in that seat? You can easily commentate and run camera feeds. Also, what do you think of the drone? As Leclerc goes down, but it's just a tip over, so he remains fourth. So I had kind of a lot of people reach out to me and say that, like, did you get the TV gig? You should be in the TV gig, etc. Standard protocol with any sport. You can look at any sport you want. There's a play-by-play broadcaster and there is a color commentator. The color commentator is usually an ex-pro of the sport, usually a champion or something of that sort. Ricky Carmichael, Grant Langston, Jeff Emig, who can provide on-track analysis of things that are happening that a play-by-play announcer cannot. Is Jason Wygant good enough that he could tell you some things about what's happening on track because he's followed the sport as long as he has? Absolutely. And I probably could too. But people would not trust myself or Weege to explain something about a rider's fitness or line selection or something like that. So that is why you have a color commentator like Grant Langston or like Jeff Emig. So no, I was never in the running to get that gig, because that is the color commentator position. They are looking for that ex-pro to fill that spot and talk about more insightful stuff about the riders and what they're going through. The play-by-play spot, which is Jason Wygant's position, Ralph Shaheen, Lee Diffie, Todd Harris, Art Ekman back in the days, that's the play-by-play guy. That is the position I could go into if I ever was able to work as a TV broadcaster for Supercross or Motocross. And that position wasn't open. That is Weege's job. He's doing it very well. I hope he sticks at it for a very long time. But I do hope that at some point down the road I get an opportunity to fill that role if and when he decides he's done. So, you know, I just am going to keep doing what I'm doing, keep working on my broadcasting career the way I am. And, yeah, I'm not going to fill in for Grant Langston or Jeff Emig because I am not a former pro that can provide ridiculously good insight about what riders are going through on the track. So, you want me in pro motocross, then we can't have Weege. And if you want me in Supercross, then we can't have Lee Diffie, Ralph Shaheen, or Todd Harris, essentially. So, that's the status of that. Back to our race leader, though, coming up on 20 minutes into this moto. It is still Eagland. Tyler Lang is starting to creep up on him. And lap times have been very good for the number 4, 46.2 last time by. He's finally dipped into the 45s at a 45.9. Oh yeah, the second part of that question is also, what do you think of the drone? I think the drone is awesome, but it was way overused this weekend. It's really cool to use it on occasion to like do some fun panoramic overhead shots. It's okay occasionally in a battle to see the ruts and the line selection and you know what riders are doing differently on the track, what, you know, how they're arcing a corner that you can't see when they're showing it side by side, like right next to the track. So I think it's good for some of those things, but they basically use it for like 4 or 5 minutes straight, like multiple times, and it's just overused in my opinion. Tyler Lang, 3.8 seconds back. Yeah, Magnetti did go down. It allowed Leclerc through into third, a 46.6 last time by, 46.5 out of Lang. Leclerc is trying so hard to match this pace that Lang is putting down. It is pretty impressive what he's doing. And also remember, if we think back to the first moto, Leclerc, this is kind of when he started to fall apart a little bit. This is when he, you know, just started crashing. Honestly, he was running strong. He was battling out front. He actually was leading the race at one point and then crashed 2 or 3 times. Ended up finishing down in 4th in that first moto when Lang took the win. But this is kind of crunch time for him as Lang is closing up on the race lead. Leclerc cannot let things get out of hand. He can't crash a couple more times. Let Magnetti through. Let Janis go by. Hubbard would be right there as well. Caleb Hall is probably too far back, but Leclerc's got to batten it down a little bit better this time through, I feel like. I've never smelled Tyler Morin before, so I don't know. Iceman says, what are your thoughts on Chad Reed still competing? He's not. He's now officially retired. He might come back in 2022 for some one-off Supercross events, but I think that those will just be to appease fans and kind of have a fun go with it. It's not meant to be something where he puts it all back into it again. Change for the lead. Tyler Lang has taken it from Colby Eagland. And I'll tell you what, that looked awful easy. And I don't want to say any team tactics or orders involved right there, but Eagland has certainly been on the move most of this race. And he casually selected a not good line to go in right there to allow Lang through for the race lead. So Tyler Lang to the front, and now Eagland has the job of trying to keep Leclerc at bay in third. This would be a 5-point swing in the favor of Tyler Lang if it finishes like this. Of course, Lang would win the overall with a 1-1 on the day, and it would be down to just a 10-point gap going into the final round in Argentina in a week's time. Yes, there is a road in these races. The track is slowly degrading. It's not going to degrade as much as you would normally expect it, though, because the 450 class only has 18 riders racing in it right now. So normally when you see the ruts get deeper, the bumps get taller, etc., it's just not happening as gnarlier because you're basically having half the riders as normal go over the sections of the track. And Racing Stacy says, say Daddy Moose if you love your subscribers. So yes, absolutely Daddy Moose. All day or day. Back to our race leader, Tyler Lang, though. And he is certainly sitting pretty, at least for the Portuguese Grand Prix. And when he needed it the most to try to claw points back on Leclerc, he has certainly stepped up and delivered tonight. See if we find another battle through the field as everybody's pretty spread apart at the front. Jet Wisdom, Jeffrey Bruns. Bruns off the side of the track and allow Wisdom to close up a little bit, so they're going to have a nice little battle. Wisdom to the outside, carrying that momentum. Up to the inside of Bruns, and then has to blow the ruts because he landed a little bit too deep. And it turns to the inside at the bottom of the hill. He switches back. Bruns fights back, and a nice pass. Two guys going at it for P14. Doesn't seem like that's much, but I mean, this is still some good points, and these guys really would like to get them. A couple dualies down the hill as Jeffrey Bruns tries to stretch it out there. Catch up to Chase Donovan. Oh, is that a mistake? Yeah, Bruns went down. Wisdom gonna go through. And that is Lang. So Lang is now catching these guys. Is that to put them 2 laps down, though? I feel like he's already gone through a lot of these guys. Who is still on the lead lap? Last person on the lead lap is Chase Donovan. So no, it is not. Those guys were on the lead lap. Not anymore, though. Brandis Dvorak says, if the opportunity arose and both series were an option, would you rather commentate over out or indoors? Either way, awesome broadcast as per usual. These guys make sim look so easy. They certainly make sim look way too easy. I wish I was this good ever in my career. It's a good question, though, outdoors or indoors. I mean, I'd like to do both, obviously. It'd be fantastic. I think Supercross I would probably choose because of the prestige, but I am a bigger fan of outdoors. I like watching the Nationals more than I like watching Supercross, simply because it's more fun to watch the technical ability of riders. Like, I feel like when you see what riders are capable of doing outdoors, it's incredible. It simply is. Like, it's just amazing what those guys are able to do. And while you do get to see some of that in Supercross, I feel like you see more of it. You see more of the raw talent that someone possesses by how they ride on top of the bike and they stand through corners and they hop through braking bumps and they scrub jumps a certain way and stuff like that. I mean, it's just outdoors to me. It's incredible. It's the core of the sport. It's so fun to watch those guys at an elite level. And I personally enjoy watching it more than I do enjoy watching Supercross. But I love Supercross still, and I would love to take either position if they were available. No question about it. What's up, Z-God Gaming? Watching from the Philippines. Welcome, and thanks so much for tuning in. You're watching a great end of this race, but not so much anymore for Colby Eagland, who's down off the side of the track, and that allows Leclerc through into second, crucially giving him 2 more points back in this title fight against Lang. So instead of a 10-point gap over Lang going into the finale, he will expand that out to 12 points, still losing 10 points on the day to Lang. So I mean, you have another week like that next week, not gonna be looking too good. And I feel like if I'm Underground RC, Johnson and Eagland are going to battle each other. I'm sorry, Johnson and Hunt are going to battle each other in the 250 class for the title. And it is going to be what it is at that point. You can't really change it. Whatever happens, happens between those two. They're teammates. So if you really want to help out teammates and you're not in a title fight, I feel like the Underground RC team would or should move the entire 250 guys up to the 450 class next week. So that means take Logan Leitzel, move him up, etc., etc. Because you want to give as many chances as possible, I feel like, to put people between Lang and Leclerc like you had in this race with Janice and eventually Eagland. And unfortunately, the points deficits can't be such that you can't put too many guys between Leclerc and Lang at this point. There's only 18 guys on the track. So I feel like Underground RC, you gotta want to win this title. You're gonna need to, I think, help Lang out a little bit down the stretch here. But Leclerc is trying to make it so it doesn't matter regardless what they do. He is closed up on Lang now, 47.2 to a 53.7. Wow, he just gained 6 seconds on him the last lap alone, down to 5.8 seconds. Didn't see if Lang made a mistake or not, but pretty crazy. What is the best way to learn how to not over jump? Just practice. Practice timing, practice how much throttle you need. Just do the same lines and track and section over and over and over and over and over again until you get a feel for how much speed you need on each jump. That is the easiest way to learn how to not over jump something. Racing Stacy says, would you rather race dirt bikes or quads? Absolutely, I'd rather race dirt bikes. And no disrespect to quad guys, some of the guys that race quads as professionals are nutty. I would not want to ride a quad as hard as those guys ride them. But I grew up racing motocross. I grew up racing dirt bikes. I've been riding dirt bikes since I was 7. So over 2 decades put on dirt bikes now. I would much prefer to keep riding those than quads, which I've only ever ridden once. So keep it at that. All right, time has expired. 2-lap board about to come out next time by 4. T-Lang out front. Working around Uinaka on the 52. And he has stretched it back out on Leclerc a little bit, so it seems like he has found a little bit more comfort. And whatever happened last time by that Leclerc was able to capitalize so much time on, Lang has quickly put it behind him and has stretched this gap back out a little bit. So 2-lap board is out. Leclerc is still in it, within a shot to maybe take this win away at the flag. We'll see what happens, though. Let's peek a little further back. Anything interesting? Adam Holm maybe catching Castellaneta. Something to keep an eye on a little bit there. Donovan, Bear, Wisdom, Bruns, Rockefeller, Wilson, Uinaka. All the riders circulating the track still. Oh, Castellaneta with a big off allows Holm through. And is that there's a Janice going by putting those guys a lap down, so no harm, no foul there. Ooh, excuse me. Yes, Adam Foster, I do have a dirt bike. It's a 2002 Honda CR250 two-stroke. Was borrowing a 2021 FC250 for a little bit there, but gave it back. Back to my trusty two-stroke. Bought it off Craigslist. How long ago is that now? 5 years ago? 6 years? Rebuilt it. FMF pipe on it. Upgraded plastics. And just have fun ripping the two-stroke. So Lang continues around the track here, and now he is coming to the white flag. So here it is, 1 lap to go in Portugal and a 1-1 victory on the table for Tyler Lang. If he can take it, 1 more lap to go. He's got an 8-second advantage. He could feasibly cruise this lap, but also you run the risk of just 1 mistake, 1 little bobble causing a fall-off crash, and suddenly Leclerc has gotten back around you. So he's got to keep himself on his toes a little bit here down this stretch. Off the top of the hill to the bottom, and Lang carrying momentum through there. There's his teammate Castellaneta remounting the bike in P9. What is up, Huey? How you doing, buddy? Thanks so much for watching this and the RacerX stuff. Love seeing you guys over there, heading over to racerxonline.com, checking out what we put out over there. The more you guys support that stuff, the more I get to keep my job over there, keep producing cool content, so appreciate it. All love from Ricky Dicky, aka Radley, in chat. So shout out to you as well. All love right back at you, as we have got about 4 or 5 more corners to go here in Portugal before Tyler Lang stamps a 1-1 victory onto his points tally to close it down to a 12-point deficit to Alexis Leclerc heading into the final round at Argentina next week. Final couple of corners. He needed to get it done here tonight in a big way, and a big way he has done it. Tyler Lang takes victory here at the Grand Prix of Portugal. Leclerc, a valiant effort to charge up and finish second in this one, was matching Lang's pace for the most part throughout the race. Dropping off the hill for the final time for Eagland. He'll end up third in this moto, but it'll be good enough for second overall. 2-3 beats Leclerc's 4-2. Leclerc will obviously end up on the box, though, in third with his 4-2 performance. Janice going to end up fourth in this one, so he'll go 3-4 for fourth. Always frustrating to have a good day like that and not end up on the podium, but just the way that it shook down this time. Luke Magnetti will end up P5. Jacob Hubbard ends up looking like he's going to get 6th in this one. 7th for Caleb Hall. Adam Holm will be P8. And Cassianetta, the first rider a lap down there in 9th. 10th goes to Chase Donovan. 11th for Jet Wisdom. 12th for Austin Bear. 13th, Jeffrey Bruns. 14th for Caden Speck. 15th for Aaron Rockefeller. 16th for Tyler Uenaka. 17th for Robert Wilson, and that is it. Only 17 guys started this moto. And hey, all 17 actually did finish, so kudos. One more guy still to finish, so it's Mr. Adam Holm down the straightaway for the final time. And we'll give you guys the cuts real quick here. Let you guys know how it happened. See if anything changed. And it did not. Lang, winner, Portugal. Period. All right. That is it for us here tonight at Portugal. Be sure to join us on Wednesday for the Fox Raceway 2 National. And, of course, next week, same time, same place on Monday night for the finale of this Grand Prix Championship at Argentina, the Nuken track down there in Argentina. Looking forward to that race as well. And then the finale for the Nationals right after that at Hangtown on the 15th, I believe it'll be. It's moved back to. With the server issues last week, everything got pushed to this week. And then the concurrent week after that. So we're not wrapping up championships just yet, but we do have a couple good championship fights in this GP scene going into next Monday, and we hope to see you guys then. Quick shout out, of course, to rjerky and atom.com for being on board the broadcast this year, and racefactorgaming.com for putting on these fantastic races every week. And shout out to all of you guys in the chat who tuned in all night long. Appreciate the support as always, and we hope to see you guys at our next round on Wednesday night for the Fox Raceway 2 National. But Kellen Brower signing off here from Start Your Systems, and we'll see you guys then. Bye-bye for now.